It's important for people to understand that from the time President Bouazizi was elected president of the Republic of Liberia, one of the first things he did during the transition was to make a trip to the United States. He went to Washington, D.C. He met the State Department, and he articulated Liberia's interest going forward in deepening the relationship between Liberia and the United States. And I think this is important for people to understand. The president's vision, and him being the chief architect of our foreign policy, is important for people to know that this vision started way before inauguration. And from the time of his election, he was very clear about us as Liberia repositioning ourselves, taking our place in the community of nations, and Liberia coming back to that place that she used to have in terms of global prominence. And so that work is a work that's external, but it's also internal as well. The president, as our chief architect of our foreign policy, last year in February, he endorsed, which I shared when I first took over as Minister of Foreign Affairs, the vision for economic diplomacy. Economic diplomacy being about trade and investment, noting that the private sector is very important to create jobs for our young people, to create jobs for the jobless, and that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs role should be to reach out and invite other Liberia, that Liberia is open for business, while those who are responsible for investment carry out that work for us to carry that message. In repositioning Liberia and ensuring that Liberia takes her place in the community of nations, one of the things we did was to follow through on the bid for the UN Security Council. Now that's a very important step. And what we did as a new administration was to shape a campaign, to formulate a campaign strategy, and to move out. As you know, the voting happens at the place of permanent reps in New York and through the decisions of presidents and foreign ministers. And so our campaign targeted presidents and foreign ministers. Our president himself made some campaign efforts. We ourselves, I made campaign efforts, former foreign ministers made campaign efforts, visited capitals and so forth. And as you know, Liberia did not only get the minimum votes, we got 181 votes. This is the first time she's been able to get the full mandate of the UN General Assembly to sit on the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. The first there was only 1 year. And it wasn't because we won the confidence or got the votes. We could not obtain the 2/3 majority votes that were required. And so because of that, we never won the seat, but the seat was split between us and Ireland 1 year each after weeks of voting. The second thing we did after winning the Security Council seat, what we continue to do is to engage, continue to engage, because the Security Council seat now provides us a lever.
Representative Morby.
That big mention of minimum wages. So we did this copy, and we turned it over to the clerk of the house. She would again turn it over to the host tomorrow. So my thing is, when you look at the Decent Work Act, the Decent Work Act is there's a portion that affects our citizen, and that portion is the minimum wage. Okay. So the minimum wage of Liberia under the Decent Work Act, Chapter 16.1. You will find out that under the skilled worker, we have 0.68 as the rating, and it's like 68 cents per hour. A working hour is 68 cents. Then when you look at the final day, it's $5.44 when you multiply it by the amount of day 26. So when you have 544, it was round up to $5.50. So $5.50 just a day. So when you multiply by the quote unquote, what happened is that they took 30 days as the aggregate. So the 30 days, they subtract 4 days, 4 Sunday, giving you 26. So 26 days times 5.5 gave you $143. So $143, they have concession, they have industry, they have companies. I think it's so little. $143 as relating to our own economic dividend we are going through today. I think it's very little for anyone, because the amount, when you look at it from my perspective, you have to subtract, because it's above the threshold for withholding to that of our NASCA benefit. So when you subtract $12, you be coming down. Yeah, you be coming down.
Let me just interrupt 1 minute. We're not seeing it live, so we want to make sure. You just saw it. Okay, yeah, please go on. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So when you look at the amount, $143, the $143 for any worker, skilled worker, when you subtract as a minimum wage line, when you subtract the withholding to that of the NASCAR benefit, it falls short, almost like $128. So $128, if you have an employee who will use that money to just pay his way every day to go to work, at the end of the day, the job is a volunteer job. So I want to tell everyone, this thing is not about politics. It's not about which side we are from. It's about our people, the life of our people. So if that money cannot commensurate with our daily activity spending, then no need for the job. So our thing is, we look down to the other side of it, the casual worker, the domestic worker. Domestic worker rate is 0.48. 0.48 cent, 48 cent an hour. When you multiply that by the 8 hours, it gave you $3.50. $3.50 times 26 days gave you $91. $91. This is some of the things our people are the very cool story. I'm from the private sector. I came from the private sector before coming here. You get to the very cool story. You get to the very businesses, foreign businesses. You find out that even a storeroom ball, they pay $91. Even in the poorroom, remember that at the end of the day, right? You have people that will go through a lot. You have people that are not being retired. They are not being paid retirement benefit, but then they just work. So what we are doing is to urge government to see the need. That we urge government that this amount can we told it not just to say a skill and unskilled. So what we did was to segment it for the construction under one umbrella. So for the construction, we are saying the minimum wage a month should be $250 United States for the construction. The reason is just simple, right? Most of the construction, they are extracting our natural resources. They are taking our minerals, but yet and still our people cannot benefit. So when you now have a construction who will just pay somebody $170, $180, we are saying $250. Because at the end of the day, I went to some construction. We found out that even the retirement benefit is no more. They only get certificate and say thank you. So in order that our people can take something home, that our economy can boom, all right, and our revenue can increase. Because when you have the private sector, when the people take pay, they go about other businesses. And government also, it helps to expand, to enhance revenue. So it helps every one of us. So we are urging government to look at the area of construction. So for the skilled worker for construction, we are saying $250. And for the unskilled, we are saying $200. Then we also look at the foreign industry. We have foreigners, we have people who can afford to pay the foreigner $1,500. Can you think about that? I listened to the labor minister who said that when you try to increase the rate, $3,000 for labor permit, then you deter the foreigner. Let me tell you how it works, Mr. Labor Minister. You may not be from the private sector, but the private sector, the employer can negotiate with their employee, their foreign employee. If I'm paying the man $1,500, I will negotiate with the man and tell the man, so look, I will not pay you $1,500. What we do now, we'll pay you $1,200. The $300 will go towards your labor permit. That individual live in India. He haven't seen US before. He will agree. He will agree. And it still deny people from there's nothing but deterrence. So I want the labor minister to understand what we need. The law say, according to 45.1c, the law say our people should have their job. So one way for the people to have their job, not just the job, but to better their life. So one way to better their life from the foreign end is to make sure to again increase the minimum wage to $250. $250 is not much for the foreign company. We work with them. We know what it takes. They have a lot of foreigners here in this country. Aliens that they pay $1,500. And look at the threshold. The threshold for a foreign worker in Liberia is $500 United States. Look at the threshold for just casual worker, $91 a month. So see the margin, see the difference, the percentage rating there. So it tells you that the local one is less. So what can we do? Can we find an equilibrium, right? It may not be a balance, but an equilibrium where even the local worker, right? Our own citizen will benefit and appreciate the job. So how can we do that? It's to expand it to $250 while the foreigner remain at $500 a month upward. So what we are saying, even for there are areas that we look at the area of the foreign industry. We look at foreign company. We look at concessions. We also look at private schools. There are private schools in this country. Like for mine, I have upgraded my teacher salary. Because we are private school, we are international. We take money in US, right? And when we take money in US, we should be able to give back. Because if the money is not, the treasure is not there, right? You cannot have a teacher making 50,000. How much will the government get? Right? So they will not, because below the threshold, even 20,000 is below the threshold. So what can we do? We plan to increase this amount to 150 every month for teacher, right? For private institution, not government institution, because the shoulder is resting on the private entity and not government. So government cannot come out and say, look,
we did not have before. Because of the Security Council seat, we saw that this year's UN General Assembly, the engagements that were required from Liberia were overwhelming. And I want to thank all of the ministers of government who are part of the President's delegation to the General Assembly, all of the deputy ministers who were there with us, who participated. We had a load of over 130 engagements between the President, myself, and all of the ministers and deputy ministers and the permanent rep for Liberia. And that is 4 times more than what we had, or 3 times more than what we had in 2024 UN General Assembly engagement. Astronomical growth in terms of engagement because of the UN Security Council seat. Everyone wanting to know our position, everyone wanting to know where we stand, and wanting to engage on their agendas and on their issues. In fact, we could not even complete all of those engagements. Some of them we saw we had to go to the capitals, had to go to Serbia to complete that engagement, and Zoom calls and so forth, because the engagements for Liberia now are so much. And this is where the President has said he wants us to be. He wants us to be back where we used to be before our conflict, and he wants us to be at a position where Liberia is not a problem for the world, but Liberia is a problem solver for the world. Liberia is part of the solution. And that's where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the deputies, assistant ministers, the ambassadors in these different countries, all of us working together with our colleagues in cabinet and with the nation, all of us working together to really lift Liberia to where Liberia should be. And the meeting at the White House, again, did not just come as an event. Like I said, the President was there when he first took over, when he first was elected. But also I've had subsequent engagements here at home. We have had more engagements during the Security Council. And you saw, I think May 31st, you remember I was at the State Department with Christopher Landau, the Deputy Secretary of State. I was there for our last campaign pitch, our last campaign discussion. But that discussion was very deep, and we discussed mutual issues of immigration, migration, discuss issues of economic diplomacy and commercial diplomacy. And as you know, the United States, when President Trump took over, has started their foreign policy thrust of commercial diplomacy, which we started last year, economic diplomacy, where ours is trade and investments, and theirs is primarily trade. But we align, our foreign policies align, and so that was very interesting for the United States to see that our foreign policies align.
Dominant advocate, Zayo! 25 years of the people never read to struggle, Zayo! We answer that Tennessee! Joseph Breaker! Frederick Como! Zayo! A veteran police case, Zayo! Defiance! Who take on a basis?
Ambassador Conte as well, who joined me. And from that meeting, the next step was then the President's meeting with President Trump. The President met President Trump in July. As you know, he was one of 5 heads of state in the White House. And in that meeting, I want to use this opportunity to say something that the world doesn't know. That meeting, across the table was President Trump and his team. From the State Department was Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau. There was Stephen Miller and others, his advisor on Africa, Masad Boulos. They were on the one side of the table. On the other side of the table were 5 presidents, our president included, and the 5 foreign ministers. And each president articulated their points. Of course, the meeting was off camera. You only saw on camera just the opening. And our president did a phenomenal job in articulating the points he wanted to convey. And after he finished his points, our president did something in that room that nobody knows in public. He asked President Trump for his foreign minister to speak. He was the only president that had the foreign minister speak. Every other country, only the president spoke. I spoke for 5 to 7 minutes and exchanged views with President Trump. I didn't say anything different than what President Boyka had said. But the fact is that he gave me that space to do that platform. It takes a leader to do that. He gave me that platform. And I was able to exchange with President Trump on the points on critical minerals and maritime security that the president had already spoken to him about. Just to emphasize them, I added Mano River Union, we talk about the Security Council seat. But something happened in that room. Across that table, I'm sure confidence was built in me because the president gave me that platform at that level. And so subsequent to that, me being sitting across the table with Marco Rubio in the White House in the West Wing is part of that journey. It's part of that journey of engaging with the United States and deepening the discussion. So the discussions that I had with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State and National Security Advisor to President Trump, were just carrying further those discussions that we've been having. In September 25th, I was invited by the U.S., the only one from Africa, invited to be on a panel with Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau to speak on asylum and migration issues, where I spoke for Africa, and the fact that the migration issue is not a U.S. issue, not a Western issue. On the continent of Africa, we have migration challenges. On the continent of Africa, we have movement between countries and within regions. And so the migration is a global problem that requires shared responsibility and shared solutions. And to have that conversation now go to the White House, where on last week, Thursday, I met with Marco Rubio. We talked about those migration challenges. We talked about critical minerals, job creation. We talked about the UN Security Council. We talked about like US priorities on the UN Security Council and what this means and how we can work together with the US and others. The UN Security Council is an area where we've been supported by many countries. The EU countries, France, Sweden, Germany, some of them have been here trying to build capacity. The US has offered to build our capacity for the Security Council. So everyone's interested in Liberia because we're going to be at a table with a global voice. We're already observing the room right now, and we start on January 1. And so those are all the discussions that we had with the US. We discussed visa issues. We discussed the challenges that they have with us as well. Our overstay is a problem. We're one of the worst countries for overstay. The US even had somebody who they sent to the US for training. The US paid for them to go for training. On the first night, the person left the hotel and disappeared and absconded. These are real issues that we face. And these things affect Liberia, but we discuss all of these issues, how we can work together on overstay, how we can work together on migration, immigration issues, and how we can and look at funding around some of those things, and how we can look at demonstrating that the relationship is being deepened by trying to go back to visa, multi-year visa, and other things. So we know that with this deepening of the relationship, we expect that we'll ask America for more, America will ask us for more as well. We expect as we deepen the relationship, more will come, and we look forward to that. But it's just to really indicate here today that we're working as a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, everyone together as part of the team, all of the deputy ministers, assistant ministers, all the officers who very rarely get seen. We're all working together. You'll see recently Assistant Minister Christiana Corner, Assistant Minister Jack Foley, Assistant Minister Naomi Gray speaking at the UN for Liberia, being the voice for Liberia. A sense of pride to have women sitting there at the table speaking for Liberia in those different committees. It's collective work of everyone. And it's important for us to note that and know that we have partners along in doing that as well. The US is the US. And everyone wants a good relationship with the US. And I think the steps we've taken from the president's first meeting when he was elected all the way to now is part of that journey, deepening the relationship. We expect for it to get stronger. We expect for it to get better. But I want to thank the president for his vision and thank the president for his trust that was demonstrated, for which now we are reaping the benefits of it. Thank the team also, all the deputies, the assistant ministers, the ambassadors. And I stress the ambassadors because the ambassadors are the foot soldiers in the countries. They are the ones that carry out the day-to-day. And so thanking the entire team, but also the ministers as well. As I said, the load at the General Assembly was so heavy. All of the ministers carry their share, from Minister of Finance to Minister of Gender, Minister of Health. You know, everybody carried the load of all those different meetings and engagements, and like working out stronger. We're at a new place now as a country. We're at a new place now as a country. We're at a new place globally. We're at a new place on the continent. We represent Africa, one of Africa's 2 seats. And I think this is the time for us to be very proud. I'm proud also that Liberia now has ECOWAS representative. Councillor Bill will be going out to represent us, to be ECOWAS representative. So it's a pride for Liberia. These are all steps of pride for us as a country. As we work together, we'll continue to look at how we strengthen and deepen our relations, and look at how we continue to engage. And relationships are about give and take. We have to give. But it's a relationship. It cannot be one-sided. We cannot only see these relationships, these global relationships, as one-sided. Lastly, I would say one of the things we've done in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is very important, passports, is to decentralize. And decentralizing passports not only domestically, it's abroad as well. And we're looking at Canada, Australia, and other places where we have consulates and so forth, so that we have so that Liberians have access.
This is too high. No, it's not about you, government. It is the private entity, right? So you should look at their income they generate. If they generate income, if the private entity can bring more foreigners here, it tells you that they are generating more income. Then we should look back to our people and better the minimum wage so that they can benefit. This minimum wage is about the private sector. So for domestic, we kept domestic to 120 a month. 120 United States a month. So even for the local businesses, there are clauses that we have there. If you have an employee to a person, there are points that you can list with the labor ministry. So we make the entire amendment here to be interactive. Not a holistic thing, where at the end of the month, the foreigner will tell you, say, look, my man, I'll pay you 143. That's the rating. They may decide how much to pay you. Because according to 16.1b, right, it is determined nothing above the minimum wage. So when you are in line with the minimum wage, that's it. So if the man make 143, right, and the employer determine that he should remain at 143, 150, that's it. Nothing will change because the law says so. But remember that there are people who have worked more than 10 years and they still get in alignment with the 143, which is wrong. Because in the merit-based system, when you work more than 10 years, right, you should be lifted up, right? You should be motivated in our setting. But it's not like that. And I'm saying our people are suffering. We have no much time to just go through the entire, but we will share it with Spoon and the rest of the other media group. It will be online. You can read it. And we did this to tell the Liberian people that I told you we have 3 years here. This was just done not by me. We did this in consultation with lawyers, good lawyers in this country. So we are sending it out there. It's not about taking it and placing it in committee room. I did this conference to inform the public. We have gone through it. And we are sending it now to the clerk. Tomorrow will be on the floor. And I trust my colleagues. Because it's in the interest of their people. It's in the interest of their constituents. Everybody will support this bill for the Liberian people. If you are against the bill, it means that you are against the Liberian people. You are not in their interest. So again, thank you. This is what the bill is about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the bill, the content of the bill sounds good. But one may say for private institutions, the private institutions help augment government strength when it comes to providing education for
As a collective orientation, a defiance rooted on the basis of a cause. That's my brother. That's my brother. Yeah, my brother. Yeah, my brother. Defiance is the bedrock of our advocacy. This defiance has set the basis. Government is polluting the air with a nasty NTA. They want to suffocate the propaganda here to death. This is their plan. Like I said, 55 years and counting no political institution. Not the United Party, headed back and aspire Simpson going back to President Joseph Boyka.
Okay, so folks, this is I'd like to welcome all of you to this edition of the Morning Ride. Setting back on this day, Kool 91.9, Kool Radio Online, Kool Channel 2, and our YouTube channel as well as Kool 91.9. I'm Wiki Broke this morning, and alongside is the man Sakano, who controls the camera and sounds on this edition of the Morning Ride. And we are certainly here. Let's walk the walk and talk the talk. And as usual, I have to shift the paradigm about the democracy. Without fear, without favor, we usually speak on diluted truth of power. The very hard truth I say on this platform. And this is how I like to welcome you without fear, without favor. And it promises to be great, stimulated, very top provocative as we walk the walk and talk the talk on this edition of the Morning Ride, the People's Program. And I'm here again. This wonderful. Thanks for joining us as usual, watching, sharing. It's always good to have you joining the conversation. But also, while you are there, you can win some cash or other fabulous prizes this morning, all you need to do, go and play the Kool Cash Radio Entertainment giveaway. You dial star 799 star 11 hash, 100 Liberian dollars or 70 cents US to play. So you play multiple times, you stand a chance to win something this morning. So you dial star 799 star 11 hash, 100 Liberian dollars or 70 cents US. Play multiple times. You play 2 times, 3 times. You put in 2, put in 3, and put in your pin on your MTN Lone Star mobile account. And you will thank us later, because we certainly call you win for a 4,000 cell phone. Who knows, somebody could win it back, but it's up to you this morning to tell us thank you later. Now we move into this thing, and this is key, and this is cardinal for the growth and development of our country. You know, and to all that we do and all that we say, this is Liberia, and this is where we are. You know, this morning, still thinking of my colleague who is now well. I'll start up first. I'm happy. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. With people at times that you trust and you think you're there for them and have given probably your life, sometimes far better than what you gave yourself, and make it happy, but yet they stab you in the back, and they always think that they're doing the right thing. But we got one person above us called God. I leave that with those with conscience. You know, I've never been disappointed as compared but to this day. But I'm strong, I'm resilient. But these are all things in life you have to face. Yeah, it makes you a better person. But trust me, I haven't seen somebody who have betrayed my trust and ever walked free without paying the price of your action. Not by me, but because of the height and the kindness and what I've got in mind. I've always been successful in that. But I'd like to welcome all of you. And let me say good morning to you, Salome Bien. You celebrate your birthday on today. Happy birthday to you and your entire family. I wish all of you all of the best as you celebrate on today. It's good to have you celebrating your birthday. I wish you all of God's chosen blessing. Enjoy yourself to the fullest, and you can go ahead, do just what you want to do. It's always going to be good for you. It's nice to have you celebrating, and wish you many more birthdays to come as you celebrate on today. And you know, yesterday we had this discussion, why on the platform, trying to talk, you know, but yet, like parents, not you make my day, Wiki you made my day. You have said it all. But to reach out to Ambassador Vi or reach out to me becoming a serious problem for some of you who not see. Yeah. We celebrate dead people. We celebrate heroes in the graves. But this is life. By the special grade, probably he might be here. But I'd like to welcome all of you this day. Now, let's come to think about this, which is very key and cardinal. I was talking about this yesterday. And we talked to... Now, the General Auditing Commission, the GAC, over the period of time, have conducted some very key audits through their professional auditors and such an integrity institution that want to live up to the hopes and aspirations of the people in Liberia. But trust me, the folks are working. But there are concerns being raised. The GSC had raised some concern in their audit. But there are folks who are calling. Now, people asking, let's be honest this morning. This is not politics. Do we sit and allow these institutions or individuals who could not provide a proper documentation record that yet I perform such duty for government and government indebted to me and I need my money? Do we allow them off the hook? Because what did Jesus say? Irregularities. They could not provide supporting documentations. They could not show the request for the payment. Inconsistency with the kind of records or they were providing and all of these things. Want to defraud government. Fraudulent act. Do we allow these people to get off the hook? Now people are asking that it is a major concern coming from the findings in the audits of the GSC and the report now that folks believe that the GSC report is a clear revelation of evidence of persistent mismanagement of public resources. Do we allow these people to go scot-free? Or if government decides, because we don't, these people are taking money over a period of time. The GSC also has another report which is so much demeaning and embarrassing for our country. The GSC latest report, you know, the areas should be auditing and whatsoever. Now the GSC said they have uncovered governance lapses at the Liberia Electricity Corporation. In their finding, they said no board meetings, no strategic plan for years, major irregularities in the CLSG, the Blanco and Liberia Energy agreements. So you just imagine. Then the General Auditing Commission, according to the latest report, what in their finding and what they have discovered, they said there are serious governance and management lapses at the Liberia Electricity Corporation. Raising questions about oversight. Who are those in charge? Who been following? Who been watching? Operational planning. Major agreement with key power projects. Now, so the audit said they cover fiscal year for the LECO in their report. They cover the fiscal year June 30, the ending of June 30, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and the special budget year 2021 and the fiscal year of 2022 and 2023. So you just imagine, because we did not call so many people back who served in those positions, the capacity to come and answer why you did not have board meeting, why the GC is now telling you lapses and all of these things. Now, do we need to see people walking scot-free in the name of your leader, man? Your leader team. When you go there, then they say, "Oh, man, you doing political witch hunt." You just imagine that. The former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, will start a 5-year sentence today. Former president. But you can't try that in Liberia. You go for former minister, young people, fire burn in the name that they're protecting these people, they are there. See people standing, oh no, they think again where. And this is where we are in Liberia. So the GC said the audit also cited a breach of OECD corporate governance principle, which require both to operate with clear leadership, accountability, and defined procedures. In their audit, they said there is no evidence of board meetings or bylaws. The auditor reported that between 2018 and December 2021, there were no evidence of any board meetings being held. Minutes of meeting were not provided, and there was no proof of established committees such as audit, risks, nomination, or remuneration committees, structures that are critical to transparency and oversight. And in their report, what they said, the report warned that in absence of the board by bylaws and regular meetings, the very undermines strategic oversight, allowing management to operate without checks and balances. So you just see somebody got there, get some money, they take pay cut, they go complain, they say they do only for their own operation, no instruction, they just go, yeah. Claiming on people's ports, entering people's houses, going in city, we take it a meter because no clear definition, no instruction, no board meeting. That's not me saying it. That's the report from the GC. You see? So the GC have recommended the government in terms of the governance reforms. So the Auditor General recommended that LEC management immediately recalibrate with relevant authorities to develop, approve, and operationalize board bylaws and governance principles or policies. These should clearly define the board's compositions, roles, responsibilities, meeting schedules, and oversight mechanism. And the GC did not stop there. They also went further to say, let's advise the people that minutes of all board and committee meetings be properly documented, signed, and archived for future reference and accountability. But the LEC said to the GC that the management informed the GC that a governance review committee has been established to draft the corporation constitution bylaws. So the LEC being operating with all bylaws, you know, you said to you, now you say you have constitute a meeting, a committee to draft the corporation's constitution bylaw. The management also submitted a draft copy of the governance code of review. So the Auditor General said he acknowledged the management commitment, but said that the GAC will follow up on the implementation of a recommendation during the subsequent audits. And you come back, people who say they have done this work. Now, do we allow these people to go scot-free? Can these people answer for their actions, position they find themselves in? Or we just want to leave it and say, oh yeah, leave it pure, man. It's here, you know, like, oh, it's problem. Because in Liberia, when you want to talk about some of these things, people say, no, you leave it. You leave it, man. Let the thing just be like that. So folks are calling that from the other reports that these people, and you look at that, the GC audit covering the period from January 1 to December 31, 2024. they highlighted serious lapses in public financial management, including unlawful overspending, underspending, or key public services and revenue shortfall due to inefficiency in tax collection. Yeah. So now you overspend or you underfund a particular project because you want, when it comes to national services that government needs to provide, and you got shortfall in the revenue collection because of inefficiencies when it comes to tax collection, because some of the folks who go, they collect the ticket because what oversight? How many persons monitoring them? Now area will collect the money, they ballot charge fully to make sure that they collect government. They will not expire, they turn it over. But those who in charge, how they expire, they are not expenditure entity. But when it comes to the cover of federal government, you see it the other way. Sometimes some of the projects we present over plots. So according to the report, the Ministry of Finance Development Planning disbursed over US 2.8 million, more than the amount approved through the national budget, in violation of public financial management law. At the same time, the audit found that US 78,289 78. Okay, that's the audit report found that US 78,289,600 of approved budgetary allocation were not disbursed to 106 ministry agencies severely undermining critical sectors such as health and education. So you come to think about this. That's what they discovered. You approve in the audit they found that 78,289,600 of approved budgetary allocation that were disbursed. I mean, that was not even disbursed, that did not go to ministry agency, 106 ministry agency. Looking at this kind of money, where did it go? So you found lapses, you found the other kind of problems, so the health sector, the education sector, all of these things. Well, but when you go after these people who were sitting and were in charge, somebody will tell you it's politically motivated, because you put politics into almost everything that you do. But the people rob you and give you peanuts, you share for them, you stand for them. The audit did not stop there. The GSC audit also revealed major gaps in revenue mobilization. The Liberia Revenue Authority has yet to expand its revenue reporting software. But the Liberian Revenue Authority have been doing some extremely great work of recent, having to inform educated people, making some large awareness to see how you can educate the folks, how these things are done, how they collect revenue, to empower the people, encourage them, the dividends in paying your taxes legally, lawfully, and what comes back in return. But they only collect, they are not the spending entity. They will collect, turn it, but they want to encourage you that, because you will see the roads, you will see other things. But if they collect these things and send it out, and the actualization of the taxes collected to find the impact in the lives of the people, the trickle-down effect positively are not there, you don't blame them. We know still you will find some unscrupulous individuals still with these entities that will say collect and say do not report the full amount. But we think it's time that people who've been captured, institutions that are captured in these things, whether you there now or you were there yesterday, these people must be able to answer for some of these decisions and actions they took. Because we get a lot of money in the budget and you don't spend it, and we don't know where it goes. You saw the GSC talking about over 700 or so more requests that were made, claims of government owing them, domestic debts, and today the GSC will be saving 704 million plus. saving up as such, because that's what people be enjoy. And if you look at this time, it's under the regime of the former president coming to the current president. Do we see it as a witch hunt? This is an integrity institution have conducted a serious audit with recommendation as well. The LEC is under the spotlight as well. Imagine you running an entity, no record of board meetings, no minutes. Everybody seems to just be doing their own. You now trying to see how best you can go now to have the corporation bylaws and constitution or whatsoever. You see. And what the LEC, I mean the GC also said, they said the most troubling part of it, they already disclosed that 11 state-owned enterprises collectively unpaid taxes by more than 4.5 million. Imagine. 11 state-owned enterprises, the SOEs, like they went in 1 million and said, we'll not pay no neither operate. They said collectively unpaid taxes by more than 4.5 million. Why they were assessed at US 10.1 million. Only 5.6 million was annually paid, depriving government of much needed revenue or resources for development. You're supposed to pay 10.1. You only pay 5.6. Where did the development money go? When you pass to the other person, get a compound. You pass to the other person, get the other the other car. You pass to the other person, oh, that man got the other shop, that man building the other store, that man got the other plates. So Centel now, the Center for Transparency and Accountability Liberia, now they say the findings are deeply troubling for the growth and development of our country. And it points to a clear failure of the government to break away from ugly past. It's just continuing from one government to another, one government to another. Who changes? Who comes in? You see people sitting at the summit of major institutions with that financial indiscipline attitude, high level of corruption. Then when you turn to the first minister of government, who should be having that oversight? They themselves don't want to be accountable. How many they're ready to vote for the body to be audited? Not already disrupt section and they walk away. But they will be asking people to come before them to answer questions, but they cannot answer to those who are there. And this is why we see him right there. You know, this is something that is troubling, and the LECC now needs to take charge of some of these matters. The Ministry of Justice. You get a carpet from the GSC. Those institutions that are listed that wanted to defraud government of the kind of a huge sum of money must be made to answer. LEC, you have over the years, you can have board meeting, no meeting minutes, and no record. You don't even know a clear play or operations and all of these things. Like the last time we were sitting here talking something and people come down, you say these things, people think you. But for now, since the tax flow established under the former President George Weah, which Mary Broad stays in our position, can we have a serious account to tell us how much money in terms of power theft we have generated? Give us the breakdown. Now you see some of the kind of reports that are coming for the country called Liberia. Who wants to come to invest in a country where they are not financially disciplined? Oversight so poor, corruption seems to be the order of the day. But yet, when you say these things, people think, oh, you just want to say these things. But folks, this is the People's Program, and this is where we talk hard talk. And this is where we bring you the real information. At 8 o'clock this morning, We'll go for our sponsor break, Mary McGar, and but we are certainly here. But while you also following, you have the chance to win something for yourself, 4,000 Liberian dollar cash, or a cell phone. Who knows? Come the weekend, you could be one of the luckiest person to walk away with something like motorbike, or who knows. But what you need to do, you try to play *799 *11 hash, $100 Liberian dollars or 70 cents. You play multiple times. Some they play one time, you say that you win. You play two times. No, when you play 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it's better. Then you get to know. And we'll call you. You will tell us thank you later. So all you need to do, have some money in your mobile account, MTN, and you play. You dial *799 *11 hash. You play, you win for yourself. Even if you play 5 times, you won't play 2 times, then put 2. You won't play 3 times, put 3. You won't play 4, put 4. You won't play 5, play 5. And you will thank us later. But let me go for a breather and take a sip of my coffee this morning, as we put Liberia first in all that we do this morning.
But increasing the minimum wage bill may just cause other.
But I can tell you with the system at that school, I know what is going on. The system we have is a dummy one, right? Education minister will try. Before you listen to our personality, she says it's a messy system. I'm not going to say it's a messy system because I'm in government, but I think we have to improve the system. The only way we can improve the system is to create an attractive salary, where people will see outside, people with master degree, people who know the subject matter will come in and help our system. And you know what happens next? It helps deter teachers from leaving from school to school for greener pasture. In this country, teacher will teach here for 1 hour, they will leave for another school, from another school, before the day ends, you have 4 different schools, right? Remember now, teachers are human, they suffer from fatigue. So by creating this environment where the teacher receive good salary, it help our country, it help our nation, and they will remain in one school to teach because they know at the end of the day they're getting something good. But where you got peanuts, trust me, we now have our system being good. We always have people who are graduate. We always have people who are high school students to go in our very high school to go and teach. I think it's below the rating. We all have to improve the system so that our country can be a better country.
There's just one concern for the benefit of the public in summary. What was the
Soon as a political institution of the 5 years, I sat on the bellwether advocacies.
Lies is all that we need to do to have Liberia getting better, and we are also get a report that DSC is also conducting an audit from the Ministry of Education for all DEOs, CEOs that were as principal, for the last couple of years. And we hope that this report will be made public as well, as we follow all of these things. So Ministry of Education, get ready. Just our NBC is also with the issue of power struggle. We coming there again later this morning, where the deputy thinks he runs the show over the boss, and the boss thinks that decisions should get be taken. But we're coming there. But the deputy seems to be reportedly a more pragmatic person who causes a problem. But we're looking at this report, and the report capturing major institutions in our country that should be driving all in the forward march in terms of development of our country and how we structure ourselves. Yeah, imagine. The audit report now says EDC lack a true strategy and operational plans. So everybody running the show by heart. You just wake up because you call 2 or 3 of your friends, you join me one pick or something, I go outside. You go there outside, claiming one pole, taking people meter. Nobody sent you, you just go there. So you see what happened? And if you look in the report, they said according to the regulation D19 of the PFM Act, they said each government entity is required to prepare a strategic plan outlining its mission, goals, and measurable outputs, while regulation D22 mandates that such plan be reviewed in line with the national fiscal policy. But the GSC in the report observed that LEC operated the entity with all evidence of a poor strategy and operational plans, raising concern that the corporation lacked clear direction for achieving short, medium, or long-term goals. I'm working out of Liberia today to see entity that should move off forward, and if they operate by how without any plan. See the kind of damaging reports on our country. But when you call people who serve in this position, somebody will tell you that you wish something. You see? Now the LEC said, the management said they previously operated on a 5-year business plan from 2019 to 2023. And that has already expired. So what happened to 2024? What happened to 2025? So they say they're planning a new planning for 2025 to 2030. They had a 5-year plan. But on the other side, like we said, NACENTRA has urged the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to immediately investigate the audit findings, particularly, and that's why we said, the unlawful overspending. We listened to the former Minister of Finance say he gave National Elections Commission in 2023 for the election 4 million more than they requested. That overspending. Who gives you that authority to have done that? You get, boastfully he said it. Well, yeah, but we'll take this break again.
A political enlightenment, 55 years, we have challenged every regime before us and in front of us. Without fear and favor, unapologetically, we have informed the status quo that the masses is the only and are the only means of the sole aspirator of their own liberation.
The battle remains submissive.
Today, while the Breakers administration continues to develop poverty, suffering illiteracy and mayhem disease, they have introduced a police state. A state where the Liberia National Police are weaponizing themselves against the citizens of this country. Yo, the police are rolling, go see a time with son of black and roll. Yo. A state where national security apparatus have been reduced to war and petty criminals. Under the word of the tech celebrity, the big neck bust around, anti-police, the state have reduced its essence to nothing. This when they looted internationally sophisticated bureaucrats that are operating the state on the basis of plutocracy, these individuals that are administratively bankrupt, operating in political prostitution, have always used state apparatus as a model and a means to silence critical voices in this country. Today, the police have become the biggest embarrassment of the highest honor in state governance.
So folks are now calling for those who overspend or institutions that were underfunded. People must be made to answer to see funds in the budget allocated for institutions, and yet you can spend it. So the Minister of Education is under the spotlight next because an audit is being conducted, and we're waiting to see how it comes out. So principals, CEO, DOs, all under the spotlight, they will account for the stewardship, and we expect heirs to rule. Mr. President, I hope you're listening this morning. Because Liberian people, everything you're turning into politics, even if they're slaughtering you, they deny you of the roads that you're supposed to plow on. So now, Central is saying to strengthen financial discipline and enhance domestic revenue mobilization, they are recommending timely investigation of budget spending. It's not there, but you spend. Where did you get it from? Honor disbursements. You send little money, but you are sending the full amount, but you send little. And all violation flagging by the audit, these things, the LECC, the Ministry of Justice must get involved into this. With findings published and sanctions and enforced for Liberians to see and set precedents that we do not just sit and say, oh, the people are corrupt. Let people answer for the stewardship. That's why we are asking this morning. So we will shortly go for our sponsor break. Mary McGrath there in Bonaz Farm, Painesville, opposite the Comatisi factory, with a lot of services they offering. You know, it's a Herbert supplement that is healing a lot of sicknesses or illnesses in our country today. Liberians are all enjoying and happy. This is Liberia owned. It's not imported. It's made right in Liberia, and you know, licensed by the government of Liberia. So these people, they are not behind how people doing their own thing. And it's not a shrine where you go there, somebody tell you because you got stroke, low blood pressure, rheumatism, ulcer, and there are a whole lot of other things. You get there, the dose is there. They will tell you how to take it. There are do's and there are don'ts. You tell you what to do while taking it, and they tell you exactly what not to do while you are taking a supplement. It's a herbal supplement. This is Liberia owned. But we're going to talk about this issue of the audit for the GSC more after we have done with our commercial, our sponsor break this morning.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga herbal supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County has finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga Hot Tea supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bona Farm, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building; Kakata, Mangibi County, Bassa Community around the radio station; Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction; Campier City, Nimba County, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa County. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia owned Herbert supplement.
In your sickness, he will take care of you. Hold your heart, oh sister.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga Herbert supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County has finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bona Farm, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building. Kakata, Mangibi Kante, Basa Community around the radio station. Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction. Kample City, Nimba Kante, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa Kante. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia own Herbert Supplement.
In your sickness, He will take care of you. Hold your hand, hold your heart. Hold your hand, oh sister.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga Herbert Supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County has finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bona Farm, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building. Kakata, Mangibi Kante, Basa Community around the radio station. Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction. Kample City, Nimba Kante, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa Kante. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia own Herbert Supplement.
In your sickness, He will take care of you. Hold your hand, hold your heart. Hold your hand, oh sister.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga Herbert Supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County has finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bona Farm, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building. Kakata, Mangibi Kante, Basa Community around the radio station. Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction. Kample City, Nimba Kante, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa Kante. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia own Herbert Supplement.
In your sickness, He will take care of you. Hold your hand, hold your heart. Hold your hand, oh sister.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga herbal supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County has finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga hot tea supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bonafan, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building. Kakata, Mangibi County, Bassa Community around the radio station, Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction, Campley City, Nimba County, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa County. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia own Herbert Supplement.
In your sickness, he will take care of you. Hold your hand.
Friday, they always here making sure that we get them, and they're telling you exactly all of the things that you need to know as it relates to your health. It's a herbal supplement. This is Liberia owned. Take advantage of it, but we need to know all of these things. So while you are following the broadcast this morning, you can win for yourself some cash or other fabulous prizes. You dial *799 *11 hash, $100 Liberian to play, or 70 cents US on your Lone Star MTN mobile account. So you play multiple times and you stand a chance of winning something very fabulous, other than think that you can just play 2 times, you want that, you stand and you wait. No luggage ticket. You got to play multiple times, and it will help you to win something this morning. So as soon as before we leave the show, at least we can call 3-4 persons and say, yeah, you want that 4,000, you want this amount, you want that amount. So we will shortly go to the lines, but there are a couple of questions we want to ask. The GSC is an integrity institution established by an act of national legislature, performing a duty to make sure that checks and balances are erected, that people account for the stewardship in terms of finances, and when allocated in the national budget, that this ministry, this agency, or the project being conducted, government indebted to these people, and all of these things. You bring a document that can substantiate the claims that you're making and authenticate that yes, indeed, what you are requesting or saying is actually true. But on the other hand, there are folks who believe some of these audits are politically motivated, politically charged, meant to get our folks. But there are folks who believe that people might answer for the stewardship. Now, we always talk about fighting corruption. Now the GSC have conducted an audit. You heard one from LEC. And you saw the number of folks who have said government indebted to them, who have been passed. Do we have to just sit and watch the people go off the hook? Attempting to steal from government, or have stolen from government, or in government, you have overspent or underspent. The former Father Minister, he gave 4 million more than what the National Elections Commission asked for during the general presidential elections. And you hear other folks that, hey, they have done this, they have done that, and all of these things. What's your take on this report? Are these reports we ought to just read, or we expect action to come from this report? So that's why we are asking this morning. You dial *799 *11 hash, you play it first, and you can call us on 0775-919-919. That's 0775-919-919, 0880-919-919 are the numbers you can call us on to be part of the conversation this morning. But in the meantime, between time, Let's get it on this morning on this edition of the morning ride. Let me play this one for the birthday lady this morning.
And so that doesn't mean that opening council in Canada doesn't mean visas here at home. It means that our citizens where they are will have access to services. Thank you so much for the engagement. Okay, so we will only take 5 questions, and please be brief. Introduce yourself, the institution you represent. Yes.
Well, my name is Augustine Gutierrez, and I work for Farm President. Minister, during your presentation, you said that the American government is really concerned about Liberians who travel and limitation of visiting and to now make any claim of coming back. Were you able to obtain the number of Liberians who have traveled and did that make any indication of it?
So I don't have the whole number with me, but we do have the statistics. I can share at a later time. I don't have it with me here in the but we are one of the countries of most concern on the continent for overseas. And it's something that we all have to work on together. We're planning, in fact, the Assistant Minister of Fire already has a media plan, working with MCAS. We're planning to do more with a jingle that's been prepared already, it's been aired. We're planning to do more airing of the jingle to tell people the dangers that it poses to our relationship and to the country for others to get visa when they overstay. So it's a media campaign we're planning to do, and we're looking forward to rolling it out even more so that we really message out. And I think the impact that person who the U.S. themselves carry to the states who have absconded, that impact was very, very bad for us.
You know, Denzel alongside Sagodet of Ghana, but I'd like to welcome all of you on this wonderful, wonderful day. This is the morning ride, and I'd like to say happy birthday to you, Salome Bien. You celebrate your birthday on today. Let me say good morning to you, Mr. Zizi Bien, Mrs. Dorothy Bien, Eating Blessing Bien, and the entire folks there in Tingas Village, as you all seen by your daughter celebrating today. I'm the sheriff, and I'm in time, and I'm in Loon this morning. Dial star 799 star 11 hash to play your radio entertainment cool cash giveaway. Win for yourself 4,000, or you win for yourself other fabulous prizes. But to be part of the conversation this morning, let's now put in your calls on the 2 lines that are currently activated. You dial now 077. Let me talk to this wonderful, wonderful senior brother of mine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I call from Monrovia. Yeah, man, take on your phone like this morning. I am disappointed. You say in the performance of the Ministry of Justice.
Yes.
There's no need for auditing because the institution that is responsible to implement will not do it.
Yeah, the gentleman in GSA is talking about, so entity talking about overspending, underfunding, and but you have a lot of money in the budget. So why these people have done these things? So the people should be facing prosecution by this time. They're not witch hunting, but you hear people say it's being witch hunted or politically motivated.
Exactly, the Ministry of Justice will prove nothing. There are cases here pending, no investigation has been conducted. So there you have the former finance minister standing around the state. He has not been prosecuted.
Yeah, this is the man who said he gave 4 million more than what the national election. Who gives you that authority?
It's going free. If the GSC has not come out with that report today, the bonus would have been million. Don't know who intended to fraud the system. Don't know who intended to steal. The justice ministry does not need to sit down and look for additional evidence. People need to be prosecuted if they are very serious in corruption. Thank you very much.
Thank you always, Sean, for joining the conversation. And yeah, but let's talk to other callers. You're live.
Good morning, Wiki.
Good morning, sir.
This is Peter Wives. I'm from the Kingsville. I will take this time to say happy birthday to your wife. We wish you many more years to come. Thank you for the show.
Thank you, sir.
So I will take the whole time to ask the ministry, each of the auditors should tell me what I'm going to guard because they just put it before oh, everybody happy. I don't want for them to be happy to go to through we know they fall down there. So it's time for us to come together, time to call those people to the court. No human rights being to say people who can't to see, they will not go. The country can go far out. Why will people in our own country like this? Thank you for the show.
Thank you, sir. Let's talk to this caller. You're live.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Shukun Martin. I'm calling from I don't know why when anything happens like that, about delay. I don't know why. The delay makes people to claim in the government that they will keep corrupting the nation. Why they can't go on. We start saying for the year, last year, we still saying it. Why is the hold on? The GSA people, they are very apart. Why they again go on? What the justice minister is waiting for? The people keep complaining about country. So let's put that for all, man.
Thank you. Let's talk to other callers. You live?
Hello, how are you, sir?
Well, I can complain. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Concerning my auditors this morning, I want to say thanks very much for the effort. But a little more one my brother, that the auditor each of them again with a 4 to 5 armed security to guard them, to protect them. Please let the government try the possible to guard this thing. We don't want anything to happen to the people because we want better information for our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being part of the conversation. 0775 919 919 0880 919 919. The numbers you can certainly call us on to be part of the conversation on this wonderful, wonderful day. So I'd like to say to this other caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Pastor Command. I joined the party grateful for all the action of the missionary.
Go ahead.
You guys thank you also much for me for the talking that I think the very thing we listen this morning. The issue of accountability in Liberia, I think it's a great thing. So it should be something that those in public service will hold in high esteem. If I just say kudos to the dignity of conducting, because of course we get the audit of the so-called debt. Now the GSP have expeditiously played her role or part very well. So as all callers are saying, I want to buttress them that we now the boy is in the code of the Dustin ministry. And for me, I'm one person that trust the force and Dustin ministry. For one fact, the minister is somebody who has been around the legal people many, many years. He understands the legal profession. And he understands the ramification when it comes to the kind of a great thing I have serious bearing on the country image. This is called corruption. What do people want them to do to the country? To ascertain almost better down for the poor people, for the state government is something that require that I will protect. And we're asking the doctor minister, even though we are told that you are already started putting mechanism into place to arrange the people for investigation.
Thank you. Let's talk to this caller. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, Ambassador. This is Chicago calling from the community.
Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much this morning for the topic. You know, the problem with this in Liberia is insincerity. People are not sincere. You go to the church, the same thing. You go to the mosque, the same thing. Where are we heading? We change government, but the attitude of Liberia stays the same. Where are we heading? Liberia is going nowhere when you can touch your attitude. You know, when it happens, when they audit, our brothers, they want to say the war audit, they try to interpret the war audit to be which point. Audit is about saving Liberia. When Liberia cannot be saved,
through audit, there we have nothing. Even the crop that they do, they should do the food in community. They give you money, you go and spend the money. They were asking why you spend all around, and now the money will give you. You spend that money on your own, you will pay it. But now, if they have it in government, if they say the old spend and you have to pay back, the concern to be which one, where are we heading? Thank you very much for the show this morning.
Yeah, so we're asking, is the government sincere and the political way to fight corruption? With all of the audit reports that we have in the public there, why are we still, we still do not have enough evidence to prosecute some of these folks? Good morning.
Good morning, bro.
Please go ahead.
Okay. You are on now with Lima MTV.
Go ahead, sir.
And I do join you from the city of Council.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the topic on the discussion this morning. We got to the other thing. So, would you bros, I would just like to tell the government they should protect the auditors, because those many people that will be killed in this country are there one there. And when it comes to the former government leader, they have to confess, because the man declined yet. So,
no, let's forget about that one. Yeah, we have to wait to. And let me say something to you today in Liberia, because sometimes we just, they put. Now just imagine, the former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, is the first first president in France to go to jail. Let's talk to this caller. You like?
Good morning, Happy weekend.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is and I call you this morning. You know, some of them are bringing up. It's very good. But I think after the victory, to go for the people that are getting. Because the other work. So the attack you in what they're hosting. People party host it first, they come to me, the other report. The report is out. Tell you what people are happy. Right? They have to report. You not to get there. In the other report out there, but they follow the go what they report. Why delay? No, people just think married, get for the name. You are in front of people that don't go well. So, only for that, this morning, God the judge, God the minister. Then they don't take that from now. That's the only way to take that for everybody. No matter what, you never tell it. And you go to the doctor to say, yeah, you don't do the power tells it, and that's you. Where the money go?
Thank you as well for being part of the conversation as we talk to other callers. Good morning.
Good morning, Big Brother Wingy.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, the people loving citizens of Liberia. My name is Mikey Tima, and I join you from the Most Abundant District 6 in the third private of the Vice President. His Excellency the American Kool. Yeah, for analysis for me in the morning, when Jello and I expect something good, and yeah, you are always on back. So I just want to say to the GSC, bravo for such an audit and a report. You know, everything is a proceeding, legal proceeding. So for the issue of hearing the former minister to come and tell us that he gave to election commission more than what he's supposed to give.
Yeah, because they talk about overspending and underfunding, all of these things. So why you took your permission from?
Yeah, on the basis of what? Did you give the money to rig election? Is that what you tell you? Unfortunately, it did not work for you. Then now you're coming to the public to tell the public that you gave more than what you're supposed to give. On the basis of what? And the issue of Inagono, last time that she using, there was a reliable information I have gotten and got ever since that those guys kicked into the country for local leaders. within government, like party, Zoom chair, all of that. So
Okay, we'll verify that. That's a claim, allegation, but that will be looked at the appropriate time. But let's talk to other callers. Let them weigh in. Good morning. Okay, he's gone off the line this morning. He's gone. Okay, he's off the line. Let me talk to other callers who will join us on the line this morning, Saturday. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Mark James. I've been speaking from Baptist Community.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much this morning. The corruption that's in this country will not finish. The reason the corruption will not finish? Because the people are in power now. Because when they suppress the other people, now, the other people, then when they can, they will say, okay, all they want to. So the one is just molesting them, all they want to right or parental that's all be injured. Let me get one scenario in my country, The superintendent of our drink drug time. They went clear all these budgets then our in my country cover. They went clear it. Even then they go, they said they were carrying money on them. In Ghana, the $3 million US. They said they check out missing. So the current superintendent go there up to now. We not even hear about auditing in the past leadership. So they just doing malassing on the start finish. The other person go there, but the other person do the 1 year. But you can't all this override. The people of the in jail, the reason we put them in power, they told us that they will already vote past leadership. Alright, the auditing shall go on now. We don't know what is going on. So thank you very much for your brilliant idea.
Thank you for being part of the conversation to this caller. Your life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Topo defendant, that started about 20 positions now, most of our country. Mr. Brooks, let me say thank you so much for the topic on the discussion. But you see, the corruption in the country, and especially with the arm of the government, especially the political arm for corrupt people in our country, the LCC. Yes, indeed, they're trying to do their best, but their best will be unmarked official of government, especially in the government. Mr. Brooks, President Walker is serious to fight corruption. For example, you suspended one guy on NPR on one of our ministries because of corrupt attitude. But now they may have been stopped again. They may have been appointed as the minister again. You think the president is serious of fighting corruption?
I say, let me ask you something. The thing we're discussing is connecting to that. Let me ask you now. Listen now to me. Let me ask you. So just show the connection what we're discussing to what. You said for corruption. When the president is made Nesco Wallow, they say administrative reason. You come to the public and tell the public the man is made for corruption. Now what you telling us today?
I'm telling you today.
No, sorry. All of us from that place there, you just have your own little problem. You see, when we talk, then you won't get vexed. The United Party, the CDC, I don't know how the people will decide to get rid of these people for the country because they seem to be looking at the breeding problem for Liberia. The president dismissed the man for administrative reason, and he's been reappointed in government to another capacity. The immigrant. You can't say the president dismissed the man for corruption. Hey, man. What? I told you my old garment on me. You bring lies to the public that will hold you and make you embarrassed to them until you can change. You don't bring lies here, then you expect me to take it. Good morning.
I've been questions about that because
okay.
Wall Street, no one left to take care of the children. Okay?
Yes.
Other morning.
Well, I can't complain. Got money also here.
Wait, before the air for you. I was yesterday, Kool, we had a they'll complain all the basic talking. What Kool always on it? If people working all over, if they come to the province, some people will go off. So people, I don't know what will really happen to them. Because it's possible that we hear all of the things for which a United Party use a word rescue. That's what you also we're talking with here yourself because we leave here and tell you. I just call to wish my daughter happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let me talk to this caller on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is Jones King birthday calling from Japanese Field.
You're welcome,
Good
sir.
morning, dear listener. Yeah, we keep ask the question as to whether this government will muster the courage to go after those parties to ensure that those that will be completed will be thrown behind bar or exposed to the Liberian public. Let me just say this government lack the moral and the willpower. For example, recent audit report indicted the Ministry of Finance in a total of 2.8 million that cannot be accounted for. If this president worker, he instructed the Justice Ministry to go in and ensure that such amount is accounted for. I said no. And the Ministry of Finance there, they all said, we should give a few days to bring those reports as to the 2.8 million are fully accounted. Up to now, where is the information relevant document as to how the 2.8 million was spent? Where are those documents? We cannot get it. So this government lack the more and lack the willpower to prosecute corrupt officials because people within this government are very corrupt. I gave you an example. One ministry, you are even a journalist. Investigate.
I'm not going to do investigation on that matter. I don't like people giving me instruction. That's why I brought the topic for you people. Now, so they are coming. The other report that was brought for the past regime to this regime. So, are you prepared that when you go back, you will not be one of those same persons that will come on the platform and say it's been politically motivated, which because you people are on record for saying these things. Now you asking for political way. What happens if the government decides to go and bring all of those who served in the past and present? Will you be willing to see these persecution going on, or you will blanket it by saying it's politically motivated?
Okay, we can hear it. I am a patriot. I do not support corruption. Once the government will listen, in that fact, I'm going to support it. But once the government is selected or cherry picking, that's where I'm going to be.
So what do you refer to as cherry picking? Because you can't determine who government goes for based on the magnitude of the crime. And this is what most of the time are coming. This is where most of the time you people have misled the public in how you bring these things to the disco. Do not provide the level. No, government not go for all of the cases. There are some high profile cases, but when they go for it, most of the time you hear people say, even from the past, if the former president went for people, oh yeah, the government go after people. This government go for somebody, oh the people going after people. Thank you for the time. Let's talk to other callers. I'm told you I'm the sheriff in time now. You lie. Let's talk to this caller. You lie. I can't complain. God tell you I'm not over. You're not doing anything, so don't ask me. Just go outside.
Okay, this Matthew position says. Yeah, my point I have is really they after recovery thing. The after recovery thing, they seem to be a liability to the government as well. They are not providing information.
Matthew, can we please stick to what we're discussing? After recovery thing is not what we're discussing, so let us just stick to what we are discussing, and please, that's what I want to stick to. That we'll talk about that asset recovery thing. It's already been on my mind for the last couple of days, but not today. Your life, I will speak to the chair, the head before. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, everybody close to BB people.
But we want to go to know somebody tell us here. The people bought a phone watching it for the first day there. And we can't get down the situation, and we can't stop it up. So we need to start to the country. Only what I want this to see, and I don't buy every morning. What are you? I know we are no political parties from South Africa. What are you for transparency? So you do the right thing. Even your deputy for information, you're going to be our president. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being part of the conversation. Let's talk to other callers. You live.
Yeah, good morning.
morning, people.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's John Moore and Yellow is not Thank you so much, Wilbur and Chilo. Oh, I'm trying to tell all the Liberians, if only Benin, the president is slow on his show, you're not betting. Those people are slow, they're not putting money or property or what they said, well, the president or the people, the only people, they'll get money. The end of America is definitely jail. Wait, before 2027, that's what they'll be in jail. 2028 will be in jail. You will not have that will be lost our campaign. So you're not paying. You're not paying. The president are waiting at them. When I can't reach out, I say yes. So thank you so much, and we keep God bless you. Thank you.
You're live. Let's hear you. 0775-919-919. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, friend, for everything goes.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. My name is Asmo from the North Island, over from 540.
Josiah, you're welcome.
Let me say something. I went through the audit reports and I listened to him outside Johnson with the journey. He said that we conducted the audit from 1980 up to present. Our domestic debt is of $92.1 million United States dollars, 200 and some more million Nigerian dollars. And we have made all of those other reports available to stakeholders. And he was, I said, we needed to let you talk because they are the one who eyes us most of the issues. And we are saying, compared to all issues to address the issue. We are sending compared to the president. Now that this audit has been conducted, now that the reports have been given, the money that we owe, 11% of our domestic debt, he said, is verified. Pretty tell me. Then we come to the 2022 audit of 2023, where they are telling us, the government, the Auditor General is telling us that we stand to save the amount of 704 million because people have not presented a document to verify these things.
Yeah, there are a lot of irregularities and inconsistency, no record, no request of payment, and all of these things.
Very good. They said from 2024 or 2023 to 2024 December, we get space for people to bring their relevant documents to verify their claim. Up to present, they may not receive some of those things. So now, they are saying that 704 million, they are not telling you have, but if you bring genuine claims, like a conveyance, who will reconcile these reports, you will get it. But people have not yet come out. So we're asking the president and this government, these are issues we can pay, these are issues set to us that we will prosecute, we will make sure those public institutions, the public money that are alleged public officials will be brought to book. So we are asking the justice ministry and the legal process in this country, the judicial process, to be, justice delay is not denied, to fast track some of the cases, to bring to most of the issues. We don't put process is not a delay, it's a process, but we bring a hope that they will be keen. They will be keen of these 35 to speed up many cases because that's one of the greatest challenges of our country, the justice system. How can you see somebody who we allege say you stole money, you pass it around, they tell us say, hey, yourself do the one, just do the one now. So what happened? Is there any conspiracy in the justice system that can bring these people to court? Forget about our society. Forget about the everything you do for God. They go, but the court record first. Because he said he want to sell Liberia. The public office, the non-private office people, tell the account for your stewardship. People say, oh, they go very far. No, we are asking our president to please, if the other report has reached a death according to the Auditor General, please look in it and master the total will that you dare to give a matter authority to them to carry on the audit so that we can see people in the court of human relations, if they are culpable of their thoughts or their action, then they bear the full weight of the law. If they have been appointed, giving a certificate we plan for them as a good steward. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you for being part of the conversation. That's why we're asking for the political way when it comes to the issue of fighting corruption into our country. We listened to our president 8 months ago when he spoke during his State of the Nation address. But let's talk to this caller on the line. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Fine, this is Daniel Kudo calling from Dover, Bianco FM. Let me commend you for the topics under discussion this morning, my brother. You are doing well for this country. And let me commend the auditor for their good report. You must not be afraid. Your way. You're doing your work. God will take care of you. But let me tell you this. I'm getting to have a problem with the judicial system in this country and also our police. This kind of thing, when it come out, the police should go and arrest the person, charge him, send the person to court. We should not say that waiting for a person. The person might tell you, say, okay, you go arrest that person, send that person to go before the court will be run. What the court there for? What the police are there for? Anyone that can be on the list, that the person do things against the country, that person should be arrested by the police and send the charge the person, send the person to court, let the court take their court.
Okay.
But you see that? Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the conversation. Let me talk to this caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you're welcome.
My name is Robin C. Johnson.
You took permission from both here? You took permission from both here?
Well, now you want to radio.
I'm telling you, go ahead. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, I took permission from both here.
Go ahead.
I want to make a recommendation on this audit report. And if the justice minister and appeal to the president or the House of Representatives to make the justice minister a standing position, because if there is a standing position, the justice minister will work with all fear of favor, because he works by the will and pleasure of the president, so he will take his own time to do that limit, he will be too calm, and he will be delaying justice, he will not defend justice properly to go in that grateful worthy to defend justice. So I want that position to your standing position, because maybe the president will call you shouting when you say, okay, fire, or when you tell the position, you not get fire, and you fear, you try to protect the job. Thank you very much for putting this down.
Thank you for being part of it this morning. As usual, let's try to talk to some of our callers on the line this morning, and let's go to this caller on the line. You're live. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is Wolf and this is calling from the GLU.
You're welcome.
And I want to commend the auditor general and the entire team for the kind of report. So, like we said, the president needs to enforce this particular report like he is doing. Let those that are being caught in the act be brought to book and they're facing justice. And one of the things I want to see here to the president, bring to the president on the platform is that when the former finance minister has a major press conference in Liberia, telling us, the Liberians, that he always send money to the NEC, up to today, the NEC has never come up to deny such an allegation against them. So it's so unfortunate that somebody will come say something that you are heavy in this institution and you are there to come up and deny it or even say something to what it. Today, here is the body report. Thank you.
Thank you. We wait to see the political way in fighting these things. Let's talk to other callers. You live.
This is Pastor David.
Please go ahead.
So many have thought that this president will fight corruption. There are several others, including some of his own officials. It wouldn't take reasonable people to know that Mr. Boyka has got no fund to fight corruption. I hear you talking about Betty Holly. The president built $10 million on the program. He ran left us. All of us are right. He went to the central bank and paid somebody hugely to leave that position only to bring it left. With all these things happening, and somebody in that mountain is supposed to go and start arresting people and put it in jail.
Okay, thank you. Because you guys have never stuck to the topic in your entire conversation and wanting to bring to the disco. Now, who fought corruption in this country? The regime that you supported, they didn't fight it. The Madam Ellen Johnson said who declared corruption that was public enemy number one. She failed later, she referred her as vampire. Former President George, we are doing inauguration at the Samokaedo Sports Complex here. Public funds will not end up into individual pockets and they will be prosecuted. President Joseph Bagatu have said his, and we still waiting, and that's why we're asking, where is the political will? Because by the time the people go after the people, you'll say, oh, it's politically motivated. This is what President Baga said.
Monrovia, Liberia, President Joseph Boakai has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to transparency and accountability as he delivered his second State of the Nation address on Monday, January 27. Speaking from Capitol Hill, the President emphasised his determination to fight corruption and strengthen integrity in government. President Boakai highlighted the steps taken to uphold accountability, including bolstering the independence of integrity institutions. He revealed that the General Auditing Commission did before his tenure, and millions in the Liberia tax use of public funds. In an unprecedented move, President Boakai announced audits of the Office of the President, the Judiciary, the Office of the Chief Justice, and the Senate. Additionally, the independent auditing agency has stationed internal auditors in 1 out of 131 government spending entities. Other reforms include the long-awaited appointment of an ombudsman and the introduction of a performance management and compliance system. To reinforce ethical governance, Cabinet members and agency heads are now required to sign codes of conduct and performance contracts. The President and Vice President have also declared and published their assets.
Okay, so you see, these are some of the things that were said by the by the President. All of the presidents after our Civil War that have come, they have said this. Now we're asking. Now some of us who want to see corruption fought, and it should be done impartially, not selective or cherry pick. But we are asking, if they go back to somebody who served in a regime that you supported, are you willing to say, let's look at the process and respect it, but we look at the legality of the crime or allegation level against this person, and we want to make sure that this is transparent, impartial, or we just assume that it's witch hunting, we go for people because we assume the person no longer, or whatever, In the next couple of months, the President in January again will deliver the State of the Nation address. That's why I'm going to play you the President's full speech in the last 8 months. And I want you to sit back and critically critique and listen to what he said. What are some of these things that have come to fruition? What is the political will? And are we nearing some of those things that he said? Or it was just a political statement or charade, and just to make sure that Liberians sit and clap that the President said this, the President said that. Let's take a few calls. Your life.
Thank you. This is Alvin from the People's Republic of Bulla Community. Let me say thank you very much for the topic. Oji, for the fact that you can see a former finance minister sitting on bench answering question, it tells you that the President is fighting corruption.
No, but some states believe that it is politically motivated and a witch hunting, so telling people who serve in the past regime, but they are not seeing that the President suspended people in his government who were all in the trenches and other places, campaigning, but today they've been suspended, some of them facing prosecution, yet to face it and whatsoever, because you have to put all of your facts and evidences together to go after this.
We are sitting some bread, they don't come with this to independent mind. We saw people around who the brand for Prague to suspend them until Central came on the National came on there. They were forced to lead a position that 1, 2. We heard on tape. Passport director said, yes, I did it. I was sure by the if you went to court, the court said, you're free. After 2 days, when the American came and posted on it, they ran back to arrest him. So a trade that was a political will? No. But for the fact that President Baka can punish somebody, able to turn them, suspend them, recommend them, or remove them from office. That's the goal. Look at the report, the other report. The other report will tell you from this time to this time, there's no record to show.
Okay, thank you. There is this something. As to one of the way there be a day, one of now or in a not too distant future, where we see our past leaders, former heads of state. We saw former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that took responsibility. People say, oh yeah, of Nokai. And the CDC-led government referred to her as being corrupt. She left empty cover. They had accusation, counter accusation, but today she said moving scot-free. They did not persecute her. Today, what happens if we see the former president of Liberia, Ambassador George Weah or Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, sentenced, investigated and sentenced, or investigated and acquitted? Because by the time you invite these people to answer for their stewardship, you have supporters who will put them. Now, a country that we run to go ask for help, and all of the time who are giving support over the period of time. Imagine the former president of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, today arrived at a prison in Paris to begin serving a 5-year sentence for a criminal conspiracy to finance his 2007 election campaign with funds from Libya. The late Libyan leader Mohammed Gaddafi funded his campaign, and the people investigated that he got money. They saw purple or what, but the former minister of finance said he gave National Elections Commission extra 4 million than what they requested for. Why? Why did he do that? But here is a president, a former president of France, becoming the first former president to go. Said he went with his wife this morning hand in hand. She escorted him. He's the first ex-leader of modern France, the first ex-leader of modern France to be in prison. Sarkozy hand in hand with his wife, Clara Bonny Sarkozy. They left home before getting into a car traveling to La Centra prison. And on his way to prison, Sarkozy said in a statement released on social media that an innocent man was being locked up. He was convicted last month for criminal conspiracy in a scheme to finance his 2007 election campaign with funds from Libya. Sarkozy contested both the conviction and the judge's unusual decision to incarcerate him pending appeal. His journey from the presidential palace to the notorious La Centre prison in Paris has captivated France. Yeah. He said minutes before entering prison, Sarkozy said his wife walked slowly to join his children and grandchildren outside his home. He waved at a crowd of supporters gathering in high-end Paris neighborhood where he lives, and then got into his car. Hundreds of supporters applauded and chanted "Nicolas, Nicolas," and sang the French anthem. 2 French flags were hung on a nearby fence with the inscription "Courage, Nicolas, return soon," and "True France with Nicolas." Here is it. But in Liberia, just imagine, because this man got money from Libya for the election in 2007, that should have not been so today. His ex-president, nobody said no, the ex-president, man. After investigation last month, he's going to jail for 5 months. 5 years. He have either asked him, look, he want to be under house arrest, but the person no. And he going to a notorious prison. Then can come out of prison and say, oh yeah, the details said I think he will be they giving him like I think 1 hour a day to just do leg exercise. So just imagine that. When will we see these things happening in our country? Not just going to ex-president, minister, other officials, and do not put political alignment into it that people fighting this person, people wish hunting, people doing this thing. So Nicolas Sarkozy of France has become the first modern ex-president to go to jail, as he starts a 5-year sentence for conspiring to fund his election campaign with money from late Libyan dictator Mohammed Gaddafi. But in this country, when we're talking somebody, some people running elections, you don't even know where the money can come from. That's why at the end of the day, when the people win elections, you see, they say, oh, we don't want our own ground, we're passing to this place, we're passing to that place. The other person come from America, the other person come from China, India, other places, they got the jobs. They're not giving us jobs because you don't even know the t-shirts, the bearers, the other things you wear. You in party A, party B, party C. You don't even know the funding, the source of these things. You just wear it. By the end of the day, you don't even know the kind of bargaining what your leaders go into. But when the people ask them, to give a clear line of the funding, the next thing you say, no, the people just won't do this here. You see? So now they say, not since World War II, Nazi collaborationist leader Philip Pétain was jailed for treason in 1945 and has any French exploiter gone behind bars. Sarkozy, who was president from 2007 to 2012, can you imagine? They money you, but you were president from 2007 to 2012, has appealed against a jail term at La Sainte prison, where he is now occupying a cell roughly measuring 9 square meters in the jail isolated wings. They said more than 100 people stood outside his villa in the exclusive 16th district of Paris after his son Louis 28 called on supporters for a show of support. You see? Now he's 70 years old. They put him there. He arrived at the entrance of the notorious 19th century prison. So he continues to protest his innocence in the highly controversial Libyan money affair and posted a message on X as he was driven to the jail, say, I have no doubt truth will prevail, but hard caution the price we have been. So you see, these people, and he has said he wants no special treatment at the prison, although he has been put in isolation section for his own safety, as other inmates are infamous drugs dealer or have been convicted for terror offenses. You know, other than but then Philippe Pétain, the only other former French head of state to have been jailed was King Louis before his execution in January 1793. But in modern time, Nicolas Sarkozy at age 70 is going to jail for 5 years only because he received money from Libya for his election in 2007. Bring that to Liberia and you'll get the other way around. You hear what people, he walk with him hand in hand, and he have to wave. He going to a notorious prison. You see what's that? You see. So we just brought this for you to understand, so you get to know. But I will play you something because, and I want you to sit back and listen. January of next year, our president will deliver his sonnet again, his State of the Nation address. He will report to the people that you sent to represent you, to make laws, to have oversight. But there are things that the president said in the last 8 months when he appeared. He's about to go there, that things have been done. Let's look back and see what have we been able to achieve or get some of these things.
They should commend me for working for weather. In the sanctity of our republic, brother, it can never be broken. It will be preserved. No one personal ambition can ever outweigh.
We'll continue to work on it. He went to Washington, D.C. He met the State Department, and he articulated Liberia's interest going forward in deepening the relationship between Liberia and the United States. And I think this is important for people to understand. The president's vision, and he being the chief architect of our foreign policy, is important for people to know that this vision started way before inauguration. And from the time of his election, he was very clear about us as Liberia repositioning ourselves, taking our place in the Community of Nations. And Liberia coming back to that place that she used to have in terms of global prominence. And so that work is the work that's external, but it's also internal as well. The President, as our chief architect of our foreign policy, last year in February, he endorsed, which I shared when I first took over as Minister of Foreign Affairs, the vision for economic diplomacy. Economic diplomacy being about trade and investment, noting that the private sector is very important to create jobs for our young people, to create jobs for the jobless, and that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs role should be to reach out and invite other Liberia, that Liberia is open for business, while those who are responsible for investment carry out that work for us to carry that message. In repositioning Liberia and ensuring that Liberia takes her place in the Community of Nations, one of the things we did was to follow through on the bid for the UN Security Council. Now that's a very important step. And what we did as a new administration was to shape a campaign, to formulate a campaign strategy, and to move out. As you know, the voting happens at the place of permanent reps in New York and through the decisions of presidents and foreign ministers. And so our campaign targeted presidents and foreign ministers. Our president himself made some campaign efforts. We ourselves, I made campaign efforts, former foreign ministers made campaign efforts, visited capitals and so forth. And as you know, Liberia did not only get the minimum votes, we got 181 votes. This is the first time she's been able to get the full mandate of the UN General Assembly to sit on the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. The first there was only 1 year, and it wasn't because we won the confidence or got the votes. We could not obtain the 2/3 majority votes that were required. And so because of that, we never won the seat, but the seat was split between us and Ireland 1 year each after weeks of voting. The second thing we did after winning the Security Council seat, what we continue to do is to engage, because the Security Council seat now provides us a lever that we did not have before. Because of the Security Council seat, we saw that this year's UN General Assembly, the engagements that were required from Liberia were overwhelming. And I want to thank all of the ministers of government who were part of the President's delegation to the General Assembly, all of the deputy ministers who were there with us, who participated. We had a load of over 130 engagements between the President, myself, and all of the ministers and deputy ministers, and the permanent rep for Liberia. And that is 4 times more than what we had, or 3 times more than what we had in 2024 UN General Assembly engagement. Astronomical growth in terms of engagement because of the UN Security Council seat. Everyone wanting to know our position, everyone wanting to know where we stand, and wanting to engage on their agendas and on their issues. In fact, we could not even complete all of those engagements. Some of them we still had to go to the capitals, had to go to Serbia to complete that engagement, and Zoom calls and so forth, because the engagements for Liberia now are so much. And this is where the President has said he wants us to be. He wants us to be back where we used to be before our conflict, and he wants us to be at a position where Liberia is not a problem for the world, but Liberia is a problem solver for the world. Liberia is part of the solution. And that's where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the deputies, assistant ministers, the ambassadors in these different countries, all of us working together with our colleagues in cabinet and with the national, all of us working together to really lift Liberia to where Liberia should be. And the meeting at the White House, again, did not just come as an event. Like I said, the President was there when he first took over, when he first was elected. But also I've had subsequent engagements here at home. We have had more engagements during the Security Council. And you saw, I think, May 31st, you remember I was at the State Department with Christopher Landau, the Deputy Secretary of State. I was there for our last campaign pitch, our last campaign discussion. But that discussion was very deep, and we discussed mutual issues of immigration, migration, discussed issues of economic diplomacy and commercial diplomacy. And as you know, the United States, when President Trump took over, has started their foreign policy thrust of commercial diplomacy, which we started last year, economic diplomacy, where ours is trade and investments, and theirs is primarily trade. But we align, our foreign policies align, and so that was very interesting for the United States to see that our foreign policies align. That meeting was very fruitful, thanks to Ambassador Conte as well, who joined me. And from that meeting, the next step was then the President's meeting with President Trump. The President met President Trump in July. As you know, he was one of 5 heads of state in the White House. And in that meeting, I want to use this opportunity to say something that the world doesn't know. That meeting, across the table was President Trump and his team. From the State Department was Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau. There was Stephen Miller and others, his advisor on Africa, Masad Boulos. They were on one side of the table. On the other side of the table were 5 presidents, our president included, and the 5 foreign ministers. And each president articulated their points. Of course, the meeting was off camera. You only saw on camera just the opening. And our president did a phenomenal job in articulating the points he wanted to convey. And after he finished his points, our president did something in that room that nobody knows in public. He asked President Trump for his foreign minister to speak. He was the only president that had the foreign minister speak. Every other country, only the president spoke. I spoke for 5 to 7 minutes and exchanged views with President Trump. I didn't say anything different than what President Boyka had said. But the fact is that he gave me that space to do that platform. It takes a leader to do that. He gave me that platform, and I was able to exchange with President Trump on the points on critical minerals and maritime security that the president had already spoken to him about. Just to emphasize them, I've added Mano River Union, we talk about the Security Council seat. But something happened in that room. Across that table, I'm sure confidence was built in me because the president gave me that platform at that level. And so subsequent to that, me being sitting across the table with Marco Rubio in the White House in the West Wing is part of that journey. It's part of that journey of engaging with the United States and deepening the discussion. So the discussions that I had with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State and National Security Advisor to President Trump, were just carrying further those discussions that we've been having. In September 25th, I was invited by the U.S., the only one from Africa, invited to be on a panel with Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau to speak on asylum and migration issues, where I spoke for Africa, and the fact that the migration issue is not a U.S. issue, it's not a Western issue. On the continent of Africa, we have migration challenges. On the continent of Africa, we have movement between countries and within regions. And so the migration is a global problem that requires shared responsibility and shared solutions. And to have that conversation now go to the White House, where on last week, Thursday, I met with Marco Rubio. We talked about those migration challenges. We talked about critical minerals, job creation. We talked about the UN Security Council. We talked about like US priorities on the UN Security Council and what this means and how we can work together with the US and others. The UN Security Council is an area where we're being supported by many countries. The EU countries, France, Sweden, Germany, some of them have been here trying to build capacity. The US has offered to build our capacity for the Security Council. So everyone's interested in Liberia because we're going to be at a table with a global voice. We're already observing the room right now, and we start on January 1. And so those are all the discussions that we had with the US. We discussed visa issues. We discussed the challenges that they have with us as well. Our overstay is a problem. We're one of the worst countries for overstay. The US even had somebody who they sent to the US for training. The US paid for them to go for training. On the first night, the person left the hotel and disappeared and absconded. These are real issues that we face. And these things affect Liberia, but we discuss all of these issues, how we can work together on overstay, how we can work together on migration and immigration issues, and how we can and look at funding around some of those things, and how we can look at demonstrating that the relationship is being deepened by trying to go back to visa, multi-year visa, and other things. So we know that with this deepening of the relationship, we expect that we'll ask America for more, America will ask us for more as well. We expect as we deepen the relationship, more will come, and we look forward to that. But it's just to really indicate here today that we're working as a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, everyone together as part of the team, all of the deputy ministers, assistant ministers, all the officers who very rarely get seen. We're all working together. You'll see recently Assistant Minister Christiana Kone, Assistant Minister Jack Foley, Assistant Minister Naomi Gray speaking at the UN for Liberia, being the voice for Liberia. A sense of pride to have women sitting there at the table speaking for Liberia, those different committees. It's collective work of everyone. And it's important for us to note that and know that we have partners along in doing that as well. The US is the US. And everyone wants a good relationship with the US. And I think the steps we've taken from the president's first meeting when he was elected all the way to now is part of that journey, deepening the relationship. We expect for it to get stronger. We expect for it to get better. But I want to thank the president for his vision and thank the president for his trust that was demonstrated, for which now we are reaping the benefits of it. Thank the team also, all the deputies, the assistant ministers, the ambassadors. And I stress the ambassadors because the ambassadors are the foot soldiers in the countries. They are the ones that carry out the day-to-day. And so thanking the entire team, but also the ministers as well. As I said, the load at the General Assembly was so heavy. All of the ministers carried their share, from Minister of Finance to Minister of Gender, Minister of Health, you know, everybody carried the load of all those different meetings and engagements, and Liberia came out stronger. We're at a new place now as a country. We're at a new place now as a country. We're at a new place globally. We're at a new place on the continent. We represent Africa, one of Africa's 2 seats. And I think this is the time for us to be very proud. I'm proud also that Liberia now has ECOWAS representative. Councillor Bill will be going out to represent us, to be ECOWAS representative. So it's a pride for Liberia. These are all steps of pride for us as a country. And as we work together, we'll continue to look at how we strengthen and deepen our relations, and look at how we continue to engage. And relationships are about give and take. We have to give. But it's a relationship. It cannot be one-sided. We cannot only see these relationships, these global relationships, as one-sided. Lastly, I would say one of the things we've done in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is very important, passports, is to decentralize. And decentralizing passports not only domestically, it's abroad as well. And we're looking at Canada, Australia, and other places where they have consulates and so forth, so that Liberians have access to their rights in a faster and a more efficient way. And so that doesn't mean that opening consulate in Canada doesn't mean visas here at home. It means that our citizens, where they are, will have access to services. Thank you so much.
Where the masses have been taken off the street, those marketers that wanting to sell, to put food on their table, are taken off the street. Those young men and women that were operating at the World Trade Center have been raided down. Women, children, fathers, homes have been broken down. The government of Joseph Boyka, in a senseless nature, continue to provoke the people to arrogance.
Patio, Patio, la Facebook celebrity, Patio, you know nothing about policing, Manda, yo, yeah, to cross on the street, yo, viva, police advocates being north and saying the police for the cross on the street, viva.
The government of Joseph Boyka has failed. And when a government fails, the only way a continuous grip on power is to unleash a police state. So we are not surprised by the posture of the police against ordinary citizens and peaceful people.
You do have to register to go to school, but you can say,
and re-emphasize emphatically that the idea of police is just a command away from being arrested by the Student Unification Party. We are very uncomplicated about this. That Angoti being left boss left idea of police that is operating arrogance.
Being a police, the police.
That is operating arrogance and naked ineptitude will be arrested when the command is given. When the command is given, that boy left boss to run, fuck that police. This is the only police RGC will be stomach.
Yo, the master of being everything put on. Yo, viva, because listen to you like bring the channel, bring it as a viva. We all born is what I got. Yo.
The RG who made the conseil is to beautify himself. This is the reason Commerce, he is concerned about how he lives appear. He is concerned about how he body postures appear. Why not how public sectors are? The government of Joseph Boyka have failed. And they are using police intimidation to silence critical voices.
They are all trooping up on yo. Yo, come on, mess like bro, yo. Viva, the crowd below in the cell and now the police say viva. Now mess like bro, come on say
Therefore, Commerce, as we celebrate 55 years of the police torture and brutality, we must remind ourselves that our commitment to be fair is more than their commitment for us to fear them. Reaction to intelligence. Reaction to intelligence. John Kenyon. John Kenyon. Oh, so papa, you say yo yo. Yo. You in charge of the government say yo yo. Bang. God, register our body in yo. This is the reason, Thomas. As a party, we must continue to remind work of the people. Because this government, Commerce, just 1 year, 8 months ago, you have a president that was levying on you. Today, the president is building condominiums. Yesterday, Mr. We have built 42 condominiums. Today, Boaga is building 52 condominiums.
We still have money. Building in Loba. Yo. Building and investing education. Yo. Viva. I said it in arrest agenda say viva. We want to learn Google for that to say
Why do they say the same? Having 52% of our population not going to school. Why do they say the same? Having 32% dropout rate of students that are already in school. Why do they say the same? We having 82% of our children from age 1 to 0. Can we and right? Mr. Breaker is spending 10 million to build for 52 condominiums in Lover County. Work! Education have been deprived by Liberian students. Where poverty is on the increase. Electricity gets the students on the rise. The national legislature have allotted 1.09 million to purchase 72 cars for the team of Estavo. Amid economical hardship, the prevailing realities that are circumventing parents, the legislature careless about enacting laws, providing condescending representation, and oversight for the people of this country.
Interministerial rapid competition, c'est quoi? Interministerial rapid competition in ministry, c'est quoi? Yo, what state run premier universities in Rome and die. Baka is being 10 million condominiums in Lofa County. Yo. Mana. C'est quoi? Baka is unfair to leave this country. C'est quoi? Yo. After our anniversary, we are resting and baby come on. Yo. Mana.
Comrades, let the propaganda to represent. Let the public be aware and be reminded that Brian McGay has won the MVP for a rapping competition. He is now the chief Ballon d'Or winner of rappers in this country. Governor Joseph Boakai is on record of launching multi-tier rapping competition. This is the reasons intelligence sources of the party. Have gathered that there are attempts, and Mr. Boakai is always attempting to test Kool for fun activity. Let us say this to the people of this country. The government that hold no value for women, that put the dignity and emphasis on women in this country. But it's disabusing. Like we said, the government have endorsed rape. Government that should make rape a national emergency has endorsed rape. And is rewarding its ministerial official to be a seasoned election rapist. Today, if you want to take part in the raping competition, just go at the Ministry of Human Sport and you are certificated to be a CC rapist. Just a how Mr. Point can reduce the state and the country at large. We have come here, like I said, to celebrate 55 years of existence. This existence have been on the basis of the sweat, blood, and tears. Some matter, some in answer. One day a day, many things are still at the bar. Today, we celebrate the 40 legacy of Kool Matipo. Today, we celebrate the 40 legacy of Cosmo Tiawangomi. Today, we celebrate the 40 legacy of Carlos Timber Ellison. Today, we celebrate the 40 legacy of Kutu Fan Liba. We will tap, we will and the list go on. as we celebrate the legacy of our heroes. And those who stand before us. We will continue to champion unemphatic faith and unapologetic faith. A new time of liberation. This republic will not be a republic that will be controlled. A few political opportunists. This republic will be a republic that will be based on the political consciousness and mass education that so will give the people of this country. Liberia, under Joseph Boyka is here. Governance is at the worst stage. This, and I normally tell people, if this was the most experienced president we have, leading the state, what if this aspiring Simpson battle going president was not experienced? This president has experienced, no one I experienced, yo. The expertise gathered around really and Douala market, yo. Manda. This is the Uname US 80 years. We answer the Tennessee.
The workings of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm joined today by Deputy Ministers, Councillor Diwakri and Dr. Ibrahim Nye, and Assistant Minister Sewa Manapa. So, I think one of the first things to share with you is the fact that what you see in the press in relation to the meeting I just had at the White House, it's not an event. It's part of a journey. It's part of a process. And I think it's very important for people to understand that. It's important for people to understand that from the time President Boyka was elected President of the Republic of Liberia, one of the first things he did during the transition was to make a trip to the United States. He went to Washington, D.C. He met the State Department, and he articulated Liberia's interest going forward in deepening the relationship between Liberia and the United States. And I think this is important for people to understand. The President's vision, and he being the chief architect of our foreign policy, is important for people to know that this vision started way before inauguration. And from the time of his election, he was very clear about us as Liberia repositioning ourselves, taking our place in the Committee of Nations, and Liberia coming back to that place that she used to have in terms of global prominence. And so that work is a work that's external, but it's also internal as well. The President, as our chief architect of our foreign policy, last year in February, he endorsed, which I shared when I first took over as Minister of Foreign Affairs, the vision for economic diplomacy. Economic diplomacy being about trade and investment, noting that the private sector is very important to create jobs for our young people, to create jobs for the jobless, and that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs role should be to reach out and invite other Liberia, that Liberia is open for business, while those who are responsible for investment carry out that work for us to carry that message. In repositioning Liberia and ensuring that Liberia takes her place in the Committee of Nations, one of the things we did was to follow through on the bid for the UN Security Council. Now that's a very important step. And what we did as a new administration was to shape a campaign, to formulate a campaign strategy, and to move out. As you know, the voting happens at the place of permanent reps in New York and through the decisions of presidents and foreign ministers. And so our campaign targeted presidents and foreign ministers. But our president himself made some campaign efforts. We ourselves, I made campaign efforts, former foreign ministers made campaign efforts, visited capitals and so forth. And as you know, Liberia did not only get the minimum votes, we got 181 votes. This is the first time she's been able to get the full mandate of the UN General Assembly to sit on the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. The first there was only 1 year, and it wasn't because we won the confidence or got the votes. We could not obtain the 2/3 majority votes that were required. And so because of that, we never won the seat, but the seat was split between us and Ireland 1 year each after weeks of voting. The second thing we did after winning the Security Council seat, what we continue to do is to engage, continue to engage, because the Security Council seat now provides us a lever that we did not have before. Because of the Security Council seat, we saw that this year's UN General Assembly, the engagements that were required from Liberia were overwhelming. And I want to thank all of the ministers of government who are part of the President's delegation to the General Assembly, all of the deputy ministers who were there with us, who participated. We had a load of over 130 engagements between the president, myself, and all of the ministers and deputy ministers and the permanent rep for Liberia. And that is 4 times more than what we had, or 3 times more than what we had in 2024 UN General Assembly engagement. Astronomical growth in terms of engagement because of the UN Security Council seat, everyone wanting to know our position, everyone wanting to know where we stand and wanting to engage on their agendas and on their issues. In fact, we could not even complete all of those engagements. Some of them we saw we had to go to the capitals, had to go to Serbia to complete that engagement and Zoom calls and so forth because the engagements for Liberia now are so much. And this is where the president has said he wants us to be. He wants us to be back where we used to be before our conflict, and he wants us to be at a position where Liberia is not a problem for the world.
We'll add that you are recommending.
Over to the clerk, we have 0.68 as the rating, and it's like 68 cents per hour. A working hour is 68 cents. Then when you look at the final day, it's $5.44 when you multiply it by the amount of day 26. So when you have 544, it was round up to $5.50. So $5.50 just a day. So when you multiply it by the quote unquote, what happened is that they took 30 days as the aggregate. So the 30 days, they subtract 4 days, 4 Sunday, giving you 26. So 26 days times 5.5 gave you $143. So $143, they have concession, they have industry, they have companies. I think it's so little, $143, as relating to our own economic dividend we are going through today. I think it's very little for anyone, because the amount, when you look at it from my perspective, you have to subtract because it's above the threshold for withholding to that of our NASCA benefit. So when you subtract $12, you be coming down. Yeah, you be coming down.
Let me just interrupt 1 minute. We're not seeing the live, so we want to make sure. You just saw him. Okay, yeah, please go on. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So when you look at the amount, $143, the $143 for any worker, skilled worker, when you subtract as a minimum wage line, when you subtract the withholding to that of the NASCA benefit, it falls short, almost like $128. So $128, if you have an employee who will use that money to just pay his way every day to go to work, at the end of the day, the job is a volunteer job. So I want to tell everyone, this thing is not about politics. It's not about which side we are from. It's about our people, the life of our people. So if that money cannot commensurate with our daily activity spending, then no need for the job. So our thing is, we look down to the other side of it, the casual worker, the domestic worker. Domestic worker rate is 0.48. 0.48 cent, 48 cent an hour. When you multiply that by the 8 hours, it gave you $3.50. $3.50 times 26 days gave you $91. $91. This is some of the things our people are
normally we listen to our head of state, our leaders, when they are delivering the address. Earlier I talked to play you to hear some of the things the president talked about in the last 8 months, and in January of 2026 he will deliver another State of the Nation address. But there are things I was said. But on the overall, we're looking at the issue of the GSA report and looking at, most often we have always taken some of the fight, then so we say, oh, it's politically motivated and more out of fun. But in some African countries, there's no business as usual. They now suggest their former leaders to a judicial process of being held to account for their stewardship. You take Wellington Sudan, you have Omar al-Bashir. Students joined the list when they convicted and sentenced the former president Omar al-Bashir to 2 years imprisonment. He faced corruption, money laundering charges, following the discovery of a cash in excess of 130 million in his residence when he was deposed in April some years back. Today, the RCC are waiting his arrival to prosecute him for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and there are a whole lot of things. So yeah, imagine he went to the former president's house. When he was physical cash. They discovered cash in excess of 130 million in his residence when he was deposed. There are a whole lot of things. And there are a whole lot of former leaders. And just imagine, the former dictator, he has been in detention since then. And the trial judge ordered that the government to confiscate the cash. Bashir A75 will be sentenced to a reform facility as prisoners who are persons who are, 70 years and above. He was not alone. And a similar drama took place there in Algeria as well, where 2 of his former prime ministers were tried and convicted of corruption. And today, Amar Kwashia, who got 15 years jail term and 16,000 fine, and Abdulhamid Saleh, who received 12 years imprisonment and 8,000 fine. They broadcasted those people trial live. So you get to know that other countries, what things are happening now. They are looking to clear these things and get the rogues, people who have enriched themselves and cannot explain. We saw that in Egypt, where former President Hosni Mubarak, the late, he served his prison term and later died. He was convicted of corruption. The former president of Chad, Hissène Habré, a former president, he was also sentenced to life imprisonment with charges that border on rape, sexual slavery, crimes against humanity, corruption trial, and all of these things over a period of time. But let me take this very quickly to be right back this morning. Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir. Yeah, but you got to send me loan money. I'm gonna put you on to come for more than that. You will send me loan money. You will send me loan money. Okay, I put it in on. Yeah, so there are a whole lot of things being talked about, but I want to talk before I go to the lines on the issue. I need to talk to P. Oxford Bryan, who happens to be the communication director at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Like I said some months ago, talking about the flood light at the SKD Sports Complex. So it promises to be great. We're expecting to have night games now because the flourishing light, but he will bring her up to speed. Mr. Bryan, it's good to have you joining the morning ride.
Thank you very much, Wiki, and thank you to your network for, informing a lot of people positively.
It's always good. Yeah.
I listened to when you replay the president's speech, the address to the nation. I think it was a good thing because we need to put the president to remind about the promises made to the country.
Yeah, sure.
It's also good to put it and recording so that people can be reminded of what they say to the Liberian people concerning the growth of development of our country.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, some months ago, I was privileged to have been at the Summer Candle Sport Complex in the offices of the Minister, Councillor Kool, who took charge and but were able to live up to and saw the project, this issue of the thousand life that a lot of folks talk about. Oh, we're rushing to play games in a day, but now I'm told that everything be refurbished and whatsoever. How far we are, and tell us exactly how Liberians can relax that they don't have to rush in a day, or we expected to have games at any time.
Let me say to your listening audience, right now they should start celebrating, especially football enthusiasts. They should start to celebrate now because yesterday the installation of the floodlights commenced yesterday, and we can show you at the Ministry of Youth and Sports that there will be 9 games, in fact, in this year's National Catholic Sports League.
Wow.
And many other tournaments, international tournament at night. The group yesterday, all the groups started the installation work, and the guy, according to Western who was the engineer and director, they said they are hoping to complete the installation within a period of week if all goes well. So we are sure now that there will be a new transformation. The complex will be, a place that we know complex. Most schools are bringing other countries that host international matches.
Yeah.
So yes, but the next few weeks, when you come to the complex, you will see a huge level of transformation at the Sanya Campus Sports Complex, where Liberia now can celebrate, and afterward you come to watch your night game with that is well illuminated, and so one of the astute leadership of Jacopo Bagalo, huge transformation is not taking place at the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
So Liberians can now relax that they don't have to be in a rush and thinking that the game is at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, but they can relax even if it starts 7 or 8 o'clock. They realize that once you on the stadium, it's like you almost like a day has broken, and relax yourself and walk home safely or drive home safely. So this is a welcoming news for the country. Where do we go from there? Is this just the floor lights? Would there be any extra renovation for the giving extra look on the facility?
Of course, right now, if you just drive at the complex, you will see that they are doing some little work because we want to give the complex a facelift. So yes, so a lot of work, the transformative work is going on at the complex. The complex is where we all can go and relax and watch spectacular football matches. Beauty atmosphere right now, and so that's what we are doing at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Academy starts on December 13th, the official opening will be in Maryland, and after that, we come to Monrovia. That's a new thing now. The technical people have decided, look, we are going to play when the team comes to Monrovia. There will be a round robin. Like in the past, when they beat you up and down, all the teams to play among themselves, so that people can enjoy the work of the game and see and showcase the talents of those players. Because when you come to Monrovia and you play one time the BU, sometimes it doesn't determine as to whether you're a good player or not. It doesn't showcase your talent. But when you play and when talented players among themselves, you get discovered new talent, and that's why we want to do this time. And so there will be round robin among the countries that will come to town. So it's a new excitement now for the National Catholic Sports Week, along with the floodlights. So games, you can watch game 9 o'clock, you come from work, 4 o'clock, you come to the complex and relax, and and enjoy the football game.
Thank you so much this morning. Okay, the voice of P. Otto Brian giving her up. They're bringing her up to speed as it relates to Liberians. You can relax and know that your famous Summer Kind Sports Complex in Painesville is all lighting. All the floor lights are all well set we expecting now to have night games where we don't have to rush, we can relax, and we be at the stadium and think that it's already day. But that's good and wonderful to hear. Like we were talking earlier on, this issue of corruption, other countries have been able to set precedents, regardless of how you serve your country. If you can account for your stewardship because you're a president, and you serve in a capacity as a minister, director, whatever, these people do not shield these people. They set precedent that the next generation do not come and repeat what will not be healthy for the country. So if you look at that, because on the legal term, normally we refer to it as, when we talk about equality in jurisprudential, we talk about equality. You see countries like France, Italy, Brazil, South Korea, Israel. These countries have all convicted ex-leaders who abused their offices. Jacques Chirac of France, Flavio Berlusconi of Italy, Edu Oman of Israel were former leaders who have been so affected. Lula Leonardo da Silva today is the president of Brazil again. After he left power in his first, he went to jail for corruption allegations, all of these things. Today he's back, but he served a prison term. A two-term president of Brazil, very popular, but yet they did not say, oh yeah, because they met from the other class, they met for this. When you come back to Africa, you look at the immediate past president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma. He left office in 2018. The government pressed 16 charges against him: bordering on fraud, racketeering, money laundering, in respect of a 2.5 million armed thieves, which even predated his presidency. So you see all of these things. So equality of all citizens before the law promotes orderly and society strength that state institutions. Yes, this is part of law. Equality of all citizens. They say because you're president, former president, or minister, former minister, representative, former representative. Equality of all citizens before the law should be equal. Oh yeah, the man just cell phone, you beat in your brain. The other man say led to a story, millions of dollars, but he walks around scot-free. So we see all of these things. We'll go to the Lions Line activate, and are we having the political will? With all of what I just said listed, do you see this thing in any way happening soon in Liberia, where we see where we do not see this alarming ourselves to parties or politics and say it's politically motivated? But you have the chance of winning for yourself some cash. Before I leave the show this morning, you dial *799 *11 hash. Radio in the Timeku Cash giveaway, $100 Liberian or 70 cents to play, and you call us, you will think later. But this is where we are. Today is a wonderful day. It's a good, bitter and sweet. For me, 1 minute I'm happy, another minute I'm so disappointed. Human, it's just like that. But that's life, and that's how it called for. 0775-919-919, 0880-919-919 are the two numbers you can call us on to be part of the conversation this morning as we talk about this issue of corruption. We have listened to GSC report, names or institutions that are overfunded, but when you go after these people, we understand that people say, oh, it's politically motivated. You want to do this, you want to do that. What you want proof? Your life.
Hello.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm S. Augustine calling from Bonafton. And a member of the Unity Party. What they said is getting put up where they woman. One woman said in jail. What the fool? When the woman came over, I don't know We brought you here to straighten this country. Then you say you're going to be on you, right? The end of you talking about, oh, well, we will give them more funding to do it fair to us. It's not do it. We're turning around, we're not getting the party and maybe less. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's talk to this caller. You're live, sir.
Good morning, Budi, and good morning to Na.
Yeah, bro, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, give our contact the circle. So we give God the government power to change it because we fear that the party is full. Nothing was around. If quite long you do the death and you get to one of the live on there, and nobody will mind whatever. So we still have a hope, some of us have a hope that you will do better. But if you don't have a power, you must spend that government power right now. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Let's talk to this caller. You're live.
Money again, people will keep.
My God.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. My name is Mikey, and I'm joining you for this research. To the issue, I want to call through the United Parties to remain kind and the citizens of Black Rights to remain kind. You know, our president, our God-fearing president, our God-sent leader, he's actually came to rise Liberia again. What am I trying to say? You know, that we want the issue of fanatic profile. When he and other lawmakers were taken to the Moravia Central Prison, we had citizens gathering ourselves there to throw stones. So because of that, being the president being so far-sighted, he looked into it, he said, let's move on to it and focus on development. Because we cannot be fighting corruption or indicting people at the same time with developing the solutions, the other Galaman set of coming out, which of course it is very clear that nobody can go back to that ex. And we the citizens on that door, Georgia is our ex, we cannot go back to Georgia. So now it's clear. We can't go back to our ex. So we want to appreciate the president is not just fighting corruption, the president is restoring pride and dignity. You know, within the presidency, now individual like today, when you see President Boaga going to work, you see he alone going to work. You will not go to work, other government officials seeking president to be low. And today, you find out, let's say for example, the issue of Ami Moda. Moda came when they say Ami Moda used 90,000 to buy a car, why the media in earth? Ami Moda left the office. Let's take for example, every command and his deputy. When I made 117, why the millionaires, they left that position. And the issue of the deputy minister for, I didn't spoke there. When I, rape case came, why the millionaires, up to now, they say, ongoing investigation, and they find people be persecuted. So we want to pour on United Palestine to remain calm, so people be, investigated, and they will be prosecuted. They will pay for what they did into this country. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Let's talk to this caller. You're live.
Thank you. Let me appreciate you, sir. This is one of the arguments that I don't join the conversation for this specific. No, we brought the government to power. The main reason that the Liberian people and the opposition rallied around Ambassador Joseph Boaga was for to prosecute corrupt leaders in this country. And we listening to all the campaign songs that the people were singing that we wanted bad leadership to be prosecuted because they stood and they stood for the Liberian people, and up to now we have not seen the rest of Samuel and all of them jail. So meaning the justice system is the problem of our country, so we must address the justice system first. What is that situation? When people go to speak back the mother that they kill them, people break when they come up through, we go to jail. Nobody does stay on the phone, they can just go feet. But what if when people in the rest of my all people go to studies, people are waiting to stay that home. So meaning our country are not waiting to fight corruption. We are not prepared. Let us focus on maybe the method development president that we are also. You know, if you take people to jail right now, you will see some people be overcrowded with practicing sympathy. We are the product, we the follower and the practicing of these people. We are the product of our own suffering. Then at the end of the day, we try to save blame on government because government will come and go. At the end of the day, our leader will still remain on the bad track. So we are all on that way. If the person wants to fight corruption, then we must start the corruption. Take them to the jail. That will bring you new. That's what God will fight the big person. Then the people bring the money and the stuff for the country. Take it this money with you.
Thank you. Let's talk to this caller. You live.
Morning, sir. My name is Kool Martin from the second term. We keep people have a lot of torture in this country to corrupt the country. In the name of God, they have some torture that will come from my every time. So the former president George Niasan, but the present president Joseph Waka, the president they not end yet. The same person went on a protest. Not the end. So come on, not is that we want what we have to come in power. They should put it one project for the church here. Because the people will have their project and the country is not to tell people every day project and spending money on project for corruption. Get in. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning to my great people. I'm here to channel Vicky, let me tell you that great people today, you know, there's two political parties in this country, the Syria, the Biafra, and the country. So we need to got to see the two political parties and the people of there is two political parties before the guys. They go to take what the president and that is the only person I think will go and go about because if you want to see what in our country. Thank you for number 20.
Thank you. Let's talk to this caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. The issue about corruption is, I would like to say that in this country, we take everything for granted. The reason everything is taken for granted is because, first of all, we are not generational, or we are not generational. Our constitutional right. Because if the constitution is respected, you see people value by God and constitution. But for the people that we put them for the people that we brought to power, they cannot hold those responsibilities. How you would expect the
Hello? Okay, he's gone off the line. Let's talk to this caller. You live.
Yeah, it's Sherry.
You work up. You live.
Good morning, Mr. Pro.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is for the first. This morning is Rwanda Nation Council. Now to the topic. Mr. Pro, Nigeria has gone over 17 decades and a half. But yet we have nothing to show that we run on corruption. When we have leaders who strong to fight corruption, so they which one? I want to say a country this morning is not the minister and not the president. The president mandated the president the last time in one of the first conferences. He said that we should not exceed and pray is protected. All of those who are being translated to the CSC or report of corruption, and then we got the book, and if found guilty, then both we have so that we can tell, people that they come to the other country in the world. Thank you for that.
Thank you for being part of the conversation. But while you fund the broadcast, you have the chance to win for yourself cash, prize, or other things this morning. You dial *799 *11 hatch. Radio Entertainment Cool Catch giveaway. You play $100 or 70 cents. You play multiple times, you have the chance to win something. Let me talk to this veteran.
Yeah. The new sheriff.
The sheriff's in time.
The sheriff in time, brother. The program for the stage. We good morning and far morning too. And I went there. Look, we say the government no corruption, but all of them will come up because the people chasing them. You remember when I talk about the CSA, rather than there's somebody came from them to come represent and they're explaining about everything. They say that there's somebody giving info and the public is giving to them. I really want to tell you. And they come to get straight on let they pass on it. About start one person, one minister, take it somewhere. Every data computing come.
Everyone, you're welcome. Let's talk to this caller. You're live.
Yeah, we hear our only land, but I will call up, I don't know why.
No, I did not.
I was saying the issue of corruption, well, we cannot sweat it by ourselves. Our government needs to strengthen corruption, settle the question before they can fight corruption. But they are the people who making the law, and bring the law to what they are found to follow the law. We are the community. And those who are making the law, they don't want to follow the law. The would use all here to always vote for them who will do for them to change our sector, they will change things. And when you don't know, they don't change nothing. The government people with the agenda and the corporation and they will do all things that will be our own decision. But today, you will see that in every government sector, you see division, you see corruption taking place, you see lawmakers fighting over one another. You see people, kill one another, but they don't nothing. Yeah, sometimes they will hate you because they want to scare you and say that they want to take popular so that they want to corruption. Sometimes other people that send them to jail in the name of corruption fighting. It's not corruption fighting, they let people because they want we, the common people, to believe in them that they are doing anything. And when you look into it, they think that they are going to do, they are not doing properly. So the government is not for corruption. The government just continue to lie to us and we not need any anything that they are saying that we do it. So we can let them change that point. We like we are already with you. We come to start reading our constitution so we can know this law and start putting this law that nobody will not get from what they call it. They will all go protest and we get going to protest for what they protest. We'll be protesting now. The protesting people will be based on our constitutional law.
Thank you. That's how I would like to leave it this morning on this edition of the Morning Ride. Many thanks for all of you who joined the conversation, been following, watching as well, with sharing all of your comments. I'm Wiggy Brooks. I kind of been here on behalf of the team. Well, let's say thanks for watching, sharing. Happy birthday to you, Salome, here this wonderful day.
I came from the private sector before coming here. You get to the various coastal, you get to the various businesses, foreign businesses, you find out that even a storeroom ball, then pay $91. Even in the poorroom, remember that at the end of the day, right, you have people that will go through a lot. You have people that are not being are retired, they are not being paid retirement benefit, but then they just work. So what we are doing is to urge government to see the need, that we urge government